Chapter 2020. The seemingly tyrannical heavenly phoenix palace master was easily suppressed by Yun like a weak chicken. How is this a phoenix? To Xiao Chun, this was just a weak chicken, a chicken that could not resist at all. No matter how strong a star venerate was, he was still a star venerate. He was still weaker than a star venerate. Furthermore, Yun was not an ordinary star venerate. He possessed strong combat prowess and could suppress the heavenly phoenix palace master without even using his star venerate strength. This situation scared everyone out of their wits. The heavenly phoenix palace master was suppressed just like that? No matter what, this was a late-stage star venerate's cultivation. Dialing Yu, who was behind, was stupefied. She had never expected Yun to be so strong. She had just warned Yun to be careful of the heavenly phoenix palace master. The following scene made her realize that her words had been for nothing. Even the seemingly invincible and strong heavenly phoenix palace master could not block a single move from this youth. Who exactly is he? Dialing Yu was stunned. If it were the palace master of the martial god palace, she would be easily suppressed. Dialing Yu did not know her palace master's strength, but she estimated that she was not much weaker than the heavenly phoenix palace master, or perhaps not much stronger. Under such circumstances, the heavenly phoenix palace master was easily suppressed. You, who exactly are you? How can you be so strong? The heavenly phoenix palace master under Xiao Chen's foot roared hysterically. Heavenly phoenix palace mistress screamed hysterically. She didn't expect Yun to be so powerful. Yun's power was so terrifying that she couldn't resist it. The rage in the heavenly phoenix palace master's heart was extinguished by this stop. The heavenly phoenix palace master could not even resist. His earlier rage was quickly overwhelmed by fear. Now, the heavenly phoenix palace master wanted to find out Yun's true identity. For him to be so strong, his background was definitely not simple. He might even be a relative of the astral origin master. There is no need for you to know this. Originally, I did not want to make a move. Since you want me to, I can only choose to do so. Yun said indifferently. Then go and accompany your disciple. Think carefully about how you ended up like this. When Yun raised his foot and was about to press down, the celestial phoenix palace mistress suddenly shouted, "My lord, save me!" As he roared, a surge of energy burst forth from his body and formed a solid barrier around him. However, the shield was useless. Yun stomped down, shattering the shield and shattering his soul. Originally, the heavenly phoenix palace mistress could have been reborn. However, her soul had been crushed, so how could she be reborn? Ding! Successfully killed the heavenly phoenix palace master. Obtained 40 million star energy, 50 slaughter points, heavenly phoenix star aspect, level 5, heavenly phoenix bloodline, and heavenly phoenix feather. After killing the heavenly phoenix palace master, a surge of energy suddenly rose from under his feet. However, it did not attack Yun. Instead, it floated forward and quickly formed a figure. The first thing he saw was a beautiful woman dressed in green. As she moved, a wave of spiritual energy spread out into the surroundings, and a dense life force surrounded her. However, the power she gave off was terrifying. This was not the power of a star venerate, but the power of a star venerate. A strong, unparalleled power enveloped the area. Dai Lingyu's legs went soft, and she fell to the ground. She muttered, It's over. It's a star venerate. How can there be a star venerate? Elder Yufeng felt very sad about the heavenly phoenix palace master's death. When he saw the woman, he shouted, "My lord, you must take revenge for the palace masters." It looked like this woman did not have a close relationship with the Flame Phoenix Palace. Otherwise, she would not have addressed him as my lord. The woman looked straight at Yun. Her green eyes flickered with a strange light. "You are pretty strong. You even have a unique star-dermic aspect. You are arrogant, but you have a good foundation." The woman smiled. "Follow me, and I will give you a chance to break through to the star venerate realm and climb up to that supreme power." The woman did not deal with Yun immediately. Instead, she tried a rope in Yun. "My lord, what do you mean by this? Our, our Flame Phoenix Palace has always treated you well. We always give you a lot of tributes. How? How can you do this to the palace master and the others?" Swish! A green light swept over and circled around them before quickly returning to her body. Elder Yufeng and the others were completely drained, turning into a pile of dried corpses. They were not dead, but they only had a strand of life force left. With such a body, if no one came to save them, they would die without a doubt. "How noisy! I am speaking. What qualifications do you have to interrupt me?" The woman smiled as if she had not done anything. "Help me climb up to that supreme power?" Yun looked the woman up and down expressionlessly. "That's right. Only a few people can break through to the Star Venerate realm. Even if you're a good Star Lord, so what? How many people can break through to the Star Venerate realm?" The woman smiled faintly. "I can see that you are quite strong. You are much stronger than them. Otherwise, do you think you would have the chance to stay here and talk to me?" She flicked her finger. A green energy circled around Yun and blocked all his escape routes. "You should call me Glazed Jade, Star Venerable, instead of speaking to me in such a rude tone." Glazed Jade, Star Venerable smiled faintly, but his tone was dignified. Dialing Yu looked at them in fright. She did not expect another problem to arise before the first one was settled. The two Star Lords were strong enough. Why did another Star Venerable appear? Weren't Star Venerates rare? Why did one appear in this corner? "I can call you Glazed Jade, Star Venerable. But how can you help me climb up to that supreme power? You're just a dabbler. You have just broken through to the Star Venerable realm, and you are not a complete Star Venerable. How can you ask me to follow you?" Yun smiled coldly. "Besides, if you ask me to follow a green demon, I will probably die before I know it. Just like those people, you can kill me easily. Of course, the most important thing is that you are afraid of me. You just broke through to the Star Venerable realm not long ago. You are afraid you can't deal with me, so you didn't help me. Tut tut, you are really scheming. You want to use your power as a Star Venerable to suppress me. You want me to be afraid so that I will obey you?" Yun exposed Glazed Jade, Star Venerable's plan. In fact, it was not because she liked Yun, but because she was afraid Yun would fight with her recklessly. Glazed Jade Star Venerable was a Star Venerable, but she had just broken through to the Star Venerable realm not long ago. Maybe she had been hiding here to practice in seclusion. She had been staying here and eating well. The Phoenix Flame Palace had been offering offerings to them. But in the end, she had ended up dead. It was really sad. Chapter 2021. How could Yun not see through the Glazed Jade, Star Venerable's plan? She seemed to have abandoned the weak and chosen him. But in fact, it was also a delaying tactic. She was trying to scare him with the power of a Star Venerable so that Yun would not fight against her. The point was that the Glazed Jade Star Venerable was a green demon. It was even more impossible for him to ally with the green demon, just like it was impossible for him to ally with the evil spirit. Yun saw through the Glazed Jade, Star Venerable's plan. The Glazed Jade, Star Venerable's face fell. Even if Yun was not completely right, he was at least mostly right. It was true that she had just broken through not long ago. Her cultivation was not stable yet. Moreover, she had used some special methods to break through to Star Venerable. Her power was not comparable to that of Star Venerables who had broken through normally. It was the same as Jade Heaven Star Venerable. Although she was a Star Venerable, she was only slightly stronger than a Star Lord. She was not as great as an ordinary Star Venerable. That was because she had broken through in a hurry and had not broken through by herself. As a result, her power had declined. In this case, when the Glazed Jade Star Venerable saw Yun could suppress a Star Lord easily, she had to be cautious. If Yun fought against her, it would be hard to say what would happen to him. That was why she used this delaying tactic. It seemed like she was trying to tempt him, but in fact, she was just stalling for time. She was a Star Venerable after all, but for Yun, he did not think he could fight against her at this level. He had even suppressed a real Star Venerable in the middle stage, let alone a star venerable who had just broken through. Do you think you are smart enough to see through me? Do you think you can win? The glazed jade, star venerable, walked over. She said with a cold look, "You can even recognize my clan?" The glazed jade, star venerable, thought she had disguised herself perfectly. No one could tell she was a green demon. She didn't expect that she would be seen through with a single glance, and it was so easy for her to be seen through and recognized. Under normal circumstances, it was impossible to see through her. After all, the glazed jade star venerable had hidden herself very well. However, Etienne was not an ordinary person. He had the appraisal eyes, so he easily saw through the glazed jade star venerable's real identity. "That's right, I can see it. So what?" Etienne smiled faintly and said, "Are you going to kill me to silence me? What do you think?" The glazed jade star venerable's power broke out completely. The surrounding area was completely blocked by the green energy. She did not want to reveal her identity. When she completely erupted, her true appearance was revealed. Her entire body was green, and green scales began to appear on her forehead. These were all signs of the green demon race. "If you surrender to me obediently, I can let you go. It seems like you don't know how to cherish the opportunity. Do you think you're invincible?" The glazed jade, star venerable's eyes were filled with disdain. "Even though I just became a star venerable not long ago, I can still suppress you. You will never know how strong a star venerable is until you break through to the star venerable realm." The star venerable's power in her body gradually gushed out, and a strong pressure came over. Etienne looked calm. However, Dialing Yu, who was behind him, felt the dreadful power. It was extremely difficult for her to even speak, let alone run away. "Sir, hurry up, run away." Seeing Etienne had no intention of running away, Dialing Yu tried to persuade him from behind. "Run away?" Etienne smiled faintly and said, "I can suppress a half-baked green demon race like you with one hand." "You are talking big," the glazed jade star venerable said with a cold smile. "Then let me see how you can suppress me with one hand." The glazed jade star venerable screamed. The green demon god star Dharma idol appeared behind her. The vitality around her was sucked out by her quickly. At the same time, she was going to suck out the vitality in Etienne's body. When she thought she could get the upper hand, Etienne finally launched an attack. He raised his hand slightly and pressed it toward the glazed jade star venerable. "Surrender." Boom! The five-color Emperor Dragon's phantom behind him broke out. At the same time, the real star venerable's power soared into the sky and shattered the power released by the glazed jade star venerable. At the same time, his giant palm slapped the glazed jade star venerable to the ground like a fly. "I'll suppress you like this," Etienne said calmly. The two people at the scene were dumbfounded, and their hearts were in turmoil. They had never expected Etienne's real cultivation to be at the Star Venerable realm. They both thought Etienne's level at the peak of the Star Lord realm was his limit. It was difficult for Star Venerables to break through, and there were only a few of them in this area. Most of them were elusive, but at that moment, one of them was right in front of them. The dreadful power suppressed the glazed jade, Star Venerable, from all directions. She didn't even have a chance to turn the situation around. Star Venerable. Not until then did the glazed jade Star Venerable realize why Etienne disdained her and wasn't afraid of her. It wasn't because she was a half-baked Star Venerable. It was because Etienne was a Star Venerable. So, what was there to be afraid of? Who on earth are you? Why haven't I heard anything about you?" The glazed jade, Star Venerable, screamed. Her body was being suppressed and crushed little by little. If it went on like this, she would probably be crushed into a pool of green blood. "My identity." Etienne touched his chin and looked at them with a smile. "Jade, God ancestral land, was destroyed by me. I don't know if you have heard of it. My heavenly cloud, Star Venerable." Dialing Yu, who was behind him, shouted. She had more information, so she could shout right away. "It turns out to be Heavenly Cloud, Star Venerable." "Ha ha ha." The glazed jade, Star Venerable, burst out laughing. She finally knew who Etienne was. "I didn't expect the green demon to have such a strong person escape. It seems the five-colored holy race can't stop you, Yun said calmly. Do you have any other companions nearby? I didn't expect you to know about the five-color holy race. It seems you know a lot. Kill me or torture me, but it's impossible for you to get anything out of me. The glazed jade star venerable said with a cold look. The green demon will never be destroyed. Sooner or later, we'll occupy this area and rule all of you. She burst out laughing. She wasn't afraid of death at all. I knew you wouldn't confess. Yun strode up to the glazed jade star venerable. He grabbed her head and tried to search her memory by force. However, when his strong power surged in, he suddenly saw the mocking look in the glazed jade star venerable's eyes. The next moment, Yun flew back quickly. He grabbed Yu and ran outside. As soon as they ran out of the palace, a dreadful power burst out from inside. A green light soared into the sky and flattened the whole area. Many practitioners waiting in line outside were blown away by the explosion. Many were killed or injured. Chapter 2022. The glazed jade star venerable's self-destruction had a great impact. More than half of the Phoenix Flame Palace had been flattened. After all, this was the self-destruction of a star venerable, and it wasn't something ordinary cultivators could compare to. In fact, it could have been even more powerful. However, her time was limited, so the power of the explosion was limited. Even so, it still produced a terrifying power. The main reason was that she did not want Yun to search her memories, so she chose to self-destruct. As a star venerable, she was not afraid of death. This was especially true for the green demons, who were not afraid of death. Ding! Successfully killed the glazed jade star venerable. Obtained 50 million star energy points and 100 killing points. Obtained the green demon god star dermic idol, level 5, glazed jade armor, star sector level, and green demon soul. The system's voice meant that the glazed jade star venerable was completely dead. Yun was neither happy nor sad. Killing a star venerable was not something to be happy about. It was just something he was used to. Self-destruction. It seems like I didn't manage to search her memories in the end. Yun frowned and put down dialing you. He had thought he could search some memories, but it seemed like he could not find any. This gave him a headache. He didn't expect that there would still be fish that escaped from the net and escaped from the five-color divine race. This time, it was a star venerable who had broken through to the star venerable level. This was a star venerable, not a star venerable. Ordinary factions could not resist such a powerful existence. You were actually a heavenly cloud star venerable. Dialing you had not recovered from the shock. Yun's performance had shocked her. Star venerables were an even stronger existence. They were even stronger than the martial god palace's palace master. They could even be compared to the master of star origin. They were completely different. Now do you know who I am? Yun smiled and changed his mood from a slightly unhappy one to a happy one. The appearance of the green demons made him feel that there was some conspiracy behind it, but he could not find any clues. All the clues had been cut off. This made him a little unhappy. He didn't want any forces to threaten his side. Now that his forces had risen, if the green demon race were to appear and start a massacre, it might threaten his own forces. Thus, the appearance of the green demon race worried him. Perhaps there were more powerful green demon race hidden in some corner. The green devil race stayed here to borrow the strength of the Phoenix Flame Palace to constantly improve themselves. What the green demon race needed the most were godly medicines. If they could get them, they could improve themselves. As such, it was the right choice for the glazed jade star venerable to stay there to train in seclusion. The key was that the Phoenix Flame Palace had allied with the green devil race. This was very strange. I know, but I didn't expect you to be so strong. Dialing you was a little embarrassed. She had planned to protect Yun to prevent him from being tricked. With such strength, who would dare to deceive him? Whoever lied to him was dead meat. Don't worry about this. Let's search first and see if there is any illusory wood grass you want. Yun turned his attention to the Phoenix Flame Palace. Most of the Phoenix Flame Palace had been destroyed, but there were still some treasure vaults that had not been destroyed. They were firmly protected underground and had not suffered any damage. Illusory woodgrass. Dialing you recalled her mission wasn't to find illusory woodgrass. Now that Etianya mentioned it, she remembered. She had been frightened by the battle between Etianyun and the Phoenix Flame Palace, so she had not regained her composure. Immediately, they went to the medicine vault to find what they wanted. At this moment, no one in the Phoenix Flame Palace could stop them. After the glazed jade, Star Venerable self-destructed, countless people from the Phoenix Flame Palace had died. There were basically no guards left. Although the remaining people realized what was going on, they were not strong enough to stop Etianyun and the others from plundering the treasures. Moreover, they no longer had any thoughts of protecting the Phoenix Flame Palace. They had all fled in the face of disaster. They picked up some treasures and ran away. The palace masters of the Phoenix Flame Palace were all dead. What was the point of staying in the Phoenix Flame Palace? Soon, they found the medicine vault. There were many divine medicines here, which basically filled the entire place. There was a lot of illusory wood grass, which could easily satisfy Dialing Yu's needs. Etianyan glanced around and found some rare ones. For example, the golden divine grass and the 9 revolution star grass could be found here. However, there were very few of them. It seemed that even the Phoenix Flame Palace did not have many divine medicines. The Phoenix Flame Palace's foundation is not bad. I didn't expect it to be doing so well in this chaotic region. Etianyun collected all the spirit medicines. These were all treasures. Happy to let them go. His current force was lacking these things the most. He must have collected them all. There was not a single stock left. It's about time. It's time to leave. You have already obtained the illusory woodgrass. Your mission is considered complete, right? Etianyun prepared to leave. Yes, it's completed. I really have to thank Lord Skycloud, Star Venerate, for completing it. Dialing You was very happy. Not only did she obtain the illusory woodgrass, but she also obtained several stocks. She was in a good mood. You're welcome. Remember to be more vigilant the next time you go out. It's a pretty good way to protect yourself by transforming into that body. However, you still need to pay more attention to your heart. Etianyan recalled the first time he saw Dialing You. Dialing Yu's state had truly given him a fright. Her appearance was frightening, but she did not have many schemes. It was easy for others to scheme against her. Many thanks for Lord Skycloud, Star Venerate's reminder. I will. Dialing You blushed. Soon after, they parted ways. They did not have much to say to each other. They had only run into each other due to fate. Now that they had completed their respective missions, they naturally had to leave. I still failed to refine an elixir. I came here for nothing. Etianyan shook his head. However, when he thought about how he had gained a lot and how he had even killed a powerful green demon, he felt that he had not suffered a loss. The problem was that he had come here to refine elixir. Now that he had not succeeded, did he really have to refine an elixir himself? Never mind. I will refine an elixir myself. It will be safer this way. I can also harvest a wave of star energy, which should be enough for me to advance to rank 3 Celestial Alchemist. Etianyan smiled and shook his head. It seemed that he had come here to earn star energy. The star energy he had obtained from killing so many Star Venerates and Star Venerates would be enough for him to advance to rank 3 Celestial Alchemist. This could be considered a disguised form of alchemy. Advance to rank 3 Celestial Alchemist. Ding! Star energy successfully deducted. Beginning upgrade, ding. Successfully advanced to rank 3 Celestial Alchemist. Chapter 2023. After Etianyan successfully advanced to Celestial Alchemist Grade 3, he found a safe place and began to refine pills. Soon, he entered the state and began to refine the 9 Revolution Stargrass. Using the Primal Chaos Fire, he began to refine the 9 Revolution Stargrass. Step by step, he followed the steps. It had been a long time since he last refined pills, so he had no choice but to take it seriously. If he failed, he would have wasted a stock of 9 Revolution Stargrass. This thing was relatively rare. If he could succeed, he would definitely not let it fail. The result did not disappoint him. He successfully refined the 9 Revolution Stellar Dan. Even though he was a little unfamiliar with it, he quickly found the feeling and easily refined the 9 revolutions stellar Dan. Others might only have a 50% success rate, but he could easily reach above 80%. This was due to the effect of the flame. He had the abilities of the 5 colored Emperor Dragon. Among them, the primal chaos fire was the most suitable for refining pills. Therefore, it could greatly increase the success rate of alchemy, much higher than the success rate of most celestial alchemists. The flame was also the decisive key. Without a good flame, the success rate of alchemy would not be high. Success. I really can't rely on myself. Etianyan looked at the 2 9 Revolution star pills in his hand. One stalk of 9 Revolution stargrass could be used to refine 2 pills. This was also the reason why most people like to use it for alchemy. If one used it for alchemy, not only would the effect increase, but the quantity would also increase. It was far better than simply using the 9 Revolution stargrass. However, some people did not want to pay a high price and chose to use it themselves. Etianyan could understand this. For example, this time, he had to pay the price of 2 stalks of 9 Revolution stargrass to refine it. Under normal circumstances, one would be happy to find 1 stalk of 9 Revolution stargrass. How could one find 2 stalks of 9 Revolution stargrass? After refining successfully, Etianyan did not hesitate. He directly stuffed the pill into his mouth and began to absorb it. As soon as the 9 Revolution star pill entered his mouth, he immediately felt the unique star aspect in his body start to improve a little. Although the speed was very slow, he could feel the effect slowly increasing. At least, it proved that it was effective. Too slow again. Etianyan stuffed another pill into his mouth. Before the effects of the first pill were fully consumed, Etianyan knew that it wasn't enough. He needed another pill to absorb it. With the 2 pills stacked on top of each other, the effect began to increase. Although it was still relatively slow, it was still much faster than before. Very quickly, the pill was completely absorbed by him. He looked around at the 5-colored Emperor Dragon in his body. Its body began to glow with a faint light, like a kind of white light. In other words, there were additional white scales. However, it had only grown to less than half of its original size. There was still a long way to go. Still not enough. Etianyan felt that there was still a long way to go before he could reach the 3rd level of the Star Dharma idol. He immediately took out most of the 9 Revolution stargrass and started to refine it. He only had 1 stalk left. Apart from using it to refine his energy nascent soul, he used the rest to refine pills. Soon, another batch of medicinal pills was refined, and he continued to absorb them madly. This time, his growth rate began to increase significantly. However, he still had to raise it slowly. He was not the type to reach the top in one go. Following that, Xiao Chun slowly immersed himself in refining several 9 Revolution star pills. He needed time to consume them. At the same time, the news of the Phoenix Flame Palace's destruction spread throughout the chaotic region. No one knew what was going on. The Phoenix Flame Palace suddenly exploded. There was really no warning at all, and it completely exploded. After all, the Phoenix Flame Palace was a major faction in the chaotic region. Yet, it disappeared just like that. Those who did not know were fine. However, those who did were shocked. The Phoenix Flame Palace had 2-star venerates. 2-star venerates were even stronger than many of the Ancestral Land factions outside. Most of the Ancestral Land factions outside had only 1-star venerate at most. How could there be 2-star venerates? The Phoenix Flame Palace had 2-star venerates. They could absolutely suppress most factions. However, they did not leave the chaotic region. Instead, they continued to stay here. No one knew what their purpose was. Logically speaking, if one went to a faction outside and occupied a place, they would definitely be able to proclaim themselves kings. How many factions would dare to offend 2-star venerates? However, the Phoenix Flame Palace chose the chaotic region, surprising everyone. However, very few knew that the Phoenix Flame Palace had 2-star venerates. One could say that the Phoenix Flame Palace was very low profile. It was low profile because it did not expose its experts. However, it was high profile because of its alchemy standards. The Phoenix Flame Palace was a rather famous existence in both regions. Lord Astral Master, the Phoenix Flame Palace was destroyed. A scout reported as he knelt. The Phoenix Flame Palace was destroyed? What about the glazed jade star venerate? The Astral Master's eyes flashed with murderous intent, and the killing intent pushed the scout back. Just the murderous intent alone could knock a star venerate off his feet. It seems. The scout could not even speak properly. His words were stuck in his throat, completely frightened by Etianya. The Astral Master withdrew his murderous intent, but his gaze remained cold as he gestured for the scout to continue speaking. Many thanks, Lord. The scout crawled up and knelt on the ground, becoming even more respectful. After investigating, we discovered the aura of the glazed jade star venerate. However, it is an aura of destruction. It seems that he chose to self-detonate, causing the destruction of the Phoenix Flame Palace. As for the two palace masters, they have also disappeared without a trace. I'm afraid they are also dead. What? The Astral Master's murderous intent soared into the sky again, sending the scout flying and crashing into a wall. Do you know who killed him? Cough, cough, cough. I'm not too sure, but we discovered an acquaintance. It is the one that Lord has been keeping an eye on. The scout raised his hand, and a recording roulette appeared in his hand. The Astral Master raised his hand, and the recording roulette flew into the air. Soon, he spun it, and a familiar figure appeared in his line of sight. This person was none other than Etianyan. The so-called acquaintance here was naturally Etianyan. The Astral Master had been keeping an eye on him, but now he had come to the chaotic region. It seems that there is no one else besides him. It seems that his attainments are quite good. The Astral Master's eyes flashed with an icy green light. I didn't expect him to grow to this point. I'm looking forward to it more and more. But now that so many of my people have been killed, the plan has been ruined. It seems that the plan will have to be brought forward. The Astral Master withdrew his murderous intent, turned around, and walked into the palace. His eyes were cold. I originally wanted to nurture them for a while, but now it is time to harvest them. Chapter 2024. Buzz, buzz, buzz. The surface of Etienne's body began to emit a faint white light. As time passed, the white light became more and more intense, illuminating the entire training room as if it were daytime. The five-colored Emperor Dragon in his body had an additional layer of white scales on top of the original five-colored dragon scales. He could feel a very rich, light attribute aura from it, which meant that the five-colored Emperor Dragon was about to gain a light attribute power. Finally, after an area was completely covered with white scales, Etienne opened his eyes, and a white light shot out, directly penetrating the wall in front of him and penetrating outside. Roar! The five-colored Emperor Dragon's shadow burst out, and the five-colored Emperor Dragon behind Etienne emitted a white light, which looked very dazzling. It was no longer called the five-colored Emperor Dragon, but the six-colored Emperor Dragon. The six-colored scales represented the colors of the six attributes. From the original five attributes, it had increased to six attributes. I've finally reached the third level of the unique Dharma of stars, with an additional light attribute power. Etienne felt that the unique Dharma of stars power had once again ushered in a significant increase. And, at the same time, he had mastered an additional attribute, which was something he had not expected. He had thought that if he maintained this, he would only be able to increase his strength, but he did not expect that he could also increase his attributes. If this continued, then the next time he leveled up, there was a possibility that there would be an additional dark attribute. Or perhaps it could incorporate other attributes, or even all attributes, and truly become a full attribute Emperor Dragon. I was just about to say that 5 attributes is a little too little. Now that I have an additional attribute, it's really not bad. Etienne was overjoyed. This was an unexpected surprise. It's just that the consumption is a little high. I've used all the 9 Revolution Star pills and barely managed to break through. If I don't have so many, how can I break through? Etienne shook his head. It was unlikely that there would be any more improvements now. After breaking through, He felt that the effect of the 9 revolution star pills had become negligible, as if it had lost its effect. It seemed that if he wanted to improve in this area, he had to find another divine medicine to raise the level of the Dharma of stars, and the 9 revolution star grass was meaningless. If it was effective all the time, he would definitely refine elixirs like crazy. At the very most, he would just have to be ruthless and throw it into the merchant shop. Then, he would make a bunch of copies of it. The price was a bit high, but as long as he could increase his strength, there was nothing wrong with it. Ding! You have successfully accepted the main quest Destroy the Master of the Astral Origin. Quest completion reward: 50 million star energy points. You have also received 1 chance to evolve the system accumulable. Kill the Master of Star Origin. Ever since Yun had arrived, the main quest hadn't appeared. Now that it had finally appeared, he hadn't expected it to be to destroy the Lord of Star Origin. This was interesting. Originally, he had wanted to ignore the Master of Star Origin for the time being. But now, it seemed that he had no choice but to destroy him. Looks like I'll have to go there after a while. Yun stood up. He didn't want to go to the Star Origin domain for the time being. He wanted to go back first. He had spent a lot of time here, so he had to go back from time to time. Now that the Sky Cloud Ancestral Land was weak, he had to rely on himself to support it. Thus, he couldn't leave for too long. Otherwise, if something went wrong, he wouldn't be able to save the situation. Before leaving, Yun shifted his attention to the system evolution. He had already obtained 2 chances to evolve the system. Basically, he had used them to upgrade his skills or bloodline-type items, but he hadn't used them yet. Upgrade Crazy Mode. This was what Yun valued the most. His main source of power came from this, so it would be best if he could upgrade it. Ding! Unable to upgrade Crazy Mode for the time being. 3 chances to upgrade Crazy Mode are required. Huh? I need 3 evolution chances to level up? Yun was stunned. He had only wanted to give it a try, but he hadn't expected that he would actually be able to upgrade it. However, he didn't need 2 chances but 3. It was worth it to use the 3 chances in this aspect. Up until now, he couldn't use his star energy to upgrade, so he could only rely on this. After thinking for a while, Yun stopped thinking about it and sent himself back to the Sky Cloud Ancestral Land with a teleportation godstone. As long as there were no seals, the teleportation godstone could still be used, saving him a lot of flying time. This was also the reason why he left so easily. If he had to risk his life to get back, he really wouldn't dare to leave casually. No matter what, he had to wait for the Sky Cloud Ancestral Land to improve a little before he dared to leave. Although many forces had attached themselves to the Ancestral Land now, how many of them were truly loyal? If something happened to him, they would definitely leave, instead of obediently attaching themselves to the Sky Cloud Ancestral Land. They were only afraid of Yun's power, but deep down, they probably scoffed at him. Without Yun, the Sky Cloud Ancestral Land was nothing. The other ancestral lands had lost their Star Lords, but they still had a large number of powerhouses. The Sky Cloud Ancestral Land now couldn't compare at all. After returning to the Sky Cloud Ancestral Land, he walked around the palace for a while and saw familiar figures who had been busy. Yun's heart warmed, and he quietly floated to her side, reached out to hug her, and whispered in her ear, "I'm back." The person's body froze, and she immediately reached out and patted his hand, laughing and scolding. "Don't be serious. Can't you see I'm busy?" Sure, Yun's hands were full of information about various forces, and she was checking the situation in all aspects to make an assessment. Yun smiled awkwardly, retracted his hand, and said, "Are you exaggerating? I still need to rest occasionally." "What rest?" The Sky Cloud Ancestral Land isn't in a good situation now, and there are very few forces that can really be relied on. If you disappear for a while, the Sky Cloud Ancestral Land will probably collapse in a few days. Sure, Yun shook her head with a serious expression. Yun stopped smiling, squinted at her, and said with a smile, "Then, my Empress, it seems that you have a plan?" Although sure Yun's expression was serious, she didn't show a particularly worried look, so she must have some kind of plan. "Of course I have a plan, and that is to build a good relationship with the Tianfan ancestral land. We've contacted each other before, and we have the same idea, so we hit it off. If there are no accidents, there will be news soon, Shi Shuiyun said confidently. As expected of my empress, you have a good plan. Tianyu knew that Shi Shuiyun had a plan, and if she could rope in the second major force, there was nothing to worry about. Chapter 2025. While they were chatting, a voice came from outside. Reporting to your majesty, the court lady requests an audience. The guard outside shouted. Quick, let her in. Shi Shuiyun's eyes lit up, and she gestured for the guard to let her in. Soon, a familiar figure appeared in front of them. The court lady was none other than Yi Wei, whom Tianyun was very familiar with. She was a good choice for diplomacy, and her ability was worthy of recognition. Your Majesty, after Yi Wei appeared, her expression was full of disappointment, and she was not in high spirits. The negotiation this time did not go well, and there was a small situation. What situation? Shi Shuiyun frowned. Logically, it was unlikely that something like this would happen. After all, they had already discussed it before, and Yi Wei's visit was just to sign the contract. To put it bluntly, she was just going to go through the motions and not to actually negotiate. I'm not sure. We were about to sign the contract, but suddenly, someone came up and said a few words to Tianfan Star-Lord. After that, Tianfan Star-Lord told us not to sign the contract for the time being, and then there was nothing else. Yi Wei frowned and said, probably something happened, and that's why they refused our alliance. Something happened? Tianyun frowned. It seemed that this matter was not simple. Yes, the details are not clear. I can only say that the situation is a little complicated, and the alliance plan has been temporarily delayed. Yi Wei knelt on one knee and said, this subordinate did not handle the matter well. Please punish me, Your Majesty, Your Majesty. This has nothing to do with you. Tianyun stretched out his hand and held Yi Wei up. I didn't expect this to happen. It seems that I have to go there in person. Tianyun said with a smile. Tianyun, you want to go personally? If that's the case, isn't it equivalent to using force to force them? Their loyalty will definitely be greatly reduced. Sure, Shuiyun had no lack of opposition, but if they were to form an alliance, they should be on equal footing. This way, if there was any danger, they would come to help. If they relied on brute force to form an alliance, they might stab them in the back. These were all uncertain. No, I suspect that something special has happened. I'm afraid that some external force has come to interfere with our plan. Tianyun's eyes turned cold. He already knew who it was. Outside forces? Isn't our enemy just the Jade God Ancestral Land? Now that the Jade God Ancestral Land has been destroyed, could there be other forces? Shi Shuiyun was confused. They should not have provoked any other forces except the ancestral land of the Jade God. We're in the scorching desolation realm. The one who's here to cause trouble should be the Star Origin realm, the Master of Star Origin. Tianyun voiced out his speculation. Master of Star Origin. Their pupils constricted. They were in charge of diplomacy, so they definitely knew about all the surrounding forces. Among them, the Star Origin area was the closest, and it obviously knew about the Star Origin Master situation. He was a powerful Star Venerable. As for whether or not they would expand their forces here, that was something they needed to consider. However, after some inference, they felt that it was unlikely. The Star Origin Master was powerful, but managing the Star Origin area would be a headache for him. As for extending his control over this area, it was unlikely for the time being. If they wanted to occupy this area, they would have taken action long ago, and they would not have waited until now to take action. This was especially the case when Tianyun was here. As a Star Venerable, he might not be as powerful as the Star Origin Master, but if they really risked their lives, it would be hard to say whether he would win. Ordinary forces wouldn't dare to provoke them at will. It was mainly because monarchs were quite selfish. It was normal for them to abandon their own forces in order to survive. After they escaped, they would hide themselves and launch sneak attacks from time to time. That would be an extremely troublesome matter. If they weren't sure that they could kill their opponents, They wouldn't invade other people's forces at will. Provoking an expert was not a wise thing to do. Now that Tianyin said that it was the Star Origin Master's doing, they were quite confused. That's right, it's the Star Origin Master. There is something I didn't tell you. The black energy is the doing of the evil spirit clan. You have already guessed it. Tianyin looked at them and said solemnly, but the real mastermind is the Star Origin Master. He sent the evil spirit clan to infiltrate our lower realm, and then he sent Star disciples up to join our forces. At that time, he would make contributions and obtain a certain status. I don't know what he wants to do, but he surely wants to control our forces. It can be seen from this that the Star Origin Master will probably attack us. Now that we have formed an alliance, it isn't unexpected that the Star Origin Master will intervene. Tianyin stated his guess. They looked at each other in dismay. They hadn't expected such a thing. It's really possible that the Brahmin ancestral land will refuse. Is the Star Origin Master threatening them? Yue asked in confusion. I'm afraid threats won't work. Even if they are Star Venerables, aren't they afraid of me? Tianyin shook his head and said with a smile, I guess they have something on the Brahmin ancestral land, or something related to the Brahmin ancestral land. That's why they chose to refuse our alliance. They all nodded in agreement. That was really the case. They weren't even afraid of the Jade, God, ancestral land's threat. How could they be afraid of the Star Origin Master? The Star Origin Master was a Star Venerable, but wasn't Tianyin a Star Venerable? I'll take a trip first. You should manage this place well. Don't let suspicious people join our forces, and don't let people you don't trust take important positions, Tianyin reminded them. We know. They were quite familiar with this aspect, and they had never made a mistake. Tianyin immediately flew to the Brahmin ancestral land. He had thought the alliance would be easy, but it seemed things weren't so simple. Now that the Star Origin Master could suppress a force, he could suppress other forces. At that time, this place would still be in a state of disunity, and it wouldn't be good for unity. What does the Star Origin Master want to do? If he wants to occupy this place, he can just start a war. Why does he need to do so many strange things? Tianyin furrowed his brows. If the Star Origin Master wanted to go all out, he could still suppress a force. It was chaotic, but at least he didn't need to do so many strange things. For example, Tianyin didn't like to use any schemes, and he didn't like to plant spies in other forces. Planting spies bit by bit would waste too much time. Chapter 2026. Tianyin came to Brahma ancestral land alone and hid his appearance so that no one would recognize him. He didn't know if anyone would recognize him, but in order to avoid attracting attention, he could only choose to disguise himself. He used his ability to easily disguise himself. With his cultivation, it wasn't difficult for him to disguise himself. He could easily hide his identity and wouldn't be recognized. No matter how close they were, they wouldn't be able to see through his disguise. Unless one's cultivation was higher than his, it would be hard to recognize him. When he came to Brahma ancestral land, there weren't only female cultivators like he had imagined. Brahma ancestral land only recruited female cultivators, but it didn't mean that they rejected all male cultivators from entering their territory. If that was really the case, it would be really exaggerated. No matter how strict they were, they wouldn't be this strict. However, Brahma ancestral land was still rather open-minded. If they really met a suitable Tao companion, they could still get together. However, they would need to make a contract to do so. If they left, they would have to come back to help if anything happened to Brahma ancestral land. If they wanted true freedom, they would have to help Brahma ancestral land with 3 things before they could be truly free. It was very normal for Brahma ancestral land to set this rule. After all, they had spent so much to nurture them. If they saw a suitable Tao companion and left, wouldn't Brahma ancestral land suffer a huge loss? Therefore, those who chose to leave had to sign a contract to help Brahma ancestral land with 3 things. As for what those things were, it would depend on Brahma ancestral land. For example, obtaining divine medicine. It could also be to ask them to come back to help at a critical moment. Brahma ancestral land naturally had its own reasons for being so open-minded. In essence, they wanted more helpers. If Mary disciples came back to help, their husbands would definitely not sit idly by. Therefore, it was equivalent to asking for help from a small faction or even a large faction. It could be said that Brahma ancestral land had the most connections in this region. If they could take over Brahma ancestral land, it would be equivalent to controlling most of the factions in this region. This was also why Shuyun was the first to communicate with Brahma ancestral land. As long as they could take over Brahma ancestral land, they could slowly deal with the other factions. The situation here isn't bad. Tianyin was very satisfied with Brahma ancestral land's management. There were many patrolling guards in the Brahman ancestral land, and they were able to manage all the major problems here. Although the patrolling guards were all female cultivators, their expressions were even more severe and terrifying than the male cultivators. Their cultivations were not low, and it could be said that even women could occupy half the sky. Tianyin only took a casual glance and quickly headed for the interior of the Brahmin ancestral land. He did not enter through the main gate, but sneaked in. If he wanted to know more detailed information, he could only sneak in. If he asked directly, the elders of the Brahma ancestral land would definitely not tell him. Soon, he easily snuck inside. With his cultivation, no one could detect him. Even the Brahma Star Lord found it difficult to detect him. With the difference in cultivation, as long as Tianyin didn't want to be discovered, it would be impossible for him to be discovered. After sneaking in, Zhang Xian immediately saw many attendants hurriedly walking back and forth within the palace. The areas that they were walking around and all came out from the passageway inside. It was very likely that something had happened. As expected, there's a problem. Tianyin frowned and quickly floated inside. When he followed them in, he saw a group of experts lying on the ground. Their faces were black, and they looked like they were in pain. Not only these elders, but even the Brahma Star Lord's face was black. His originally fair face was now as black as a wok. No matter how beautiful their faces were, they could not resist the invasion of this black energy. Under the invasion of this energy, they looked very haggard. Among them, Tianyin even saw familiar people. Fairy Fan was taking care of the elders and the Star Lord. She constantly used the crystal in her hand to suck out the black matter from their bodies and then handed it to the attendants who walked over to let them deal with it. The crystal that had absorbed the black matter could not stay here. It had to be dealt with quickly or it would affect the situation here. Looking around, all the upper echelons were in danger. It seemed that they could not suppress the power and could only choose to slow it down. Tianyin glanced at it. This black matter was not the black matter of the evil spirit race. The evil spirit race was not that powerful, and their energy could not reach this stage. Flower of darkness, a flower of darkness that will continuously devour life. Once consumed, it will be difficult to remove. Unless one used a powerful flame, it would be difficult to remove. Usually, the only way to slow it down was to continuously transfer the devoured energy and obtain temporary relief. Flower of darkness, why is there such a thing? Tianyin frowned. This plant was rather evil and was rarely seen. Even if one saw it, the possibility of eating it by mistake was relatively low. Only a fool would eat such an obvious evil flower. There was only one possibility. Someone had secretly planted it. Lord Star Lord, we can't continue like this. Why don't we ask Lord Heavenly Cloud for help? Fairy Fan Yu's forehead was covered in sweat, and her eyes were filled with worry. She kept helping to extract the black, devouring energy as she spoke. It's useless. Heavenly Cloud Star Lord can't solve the effect of the flower of darkness. He's not a star alchemist, so he can't solve this problem. Besides, even if he's a star alchemist, he won't be able to solve it without reaching the 4th level. Star Lord Tian Fan Yu sighed deeply. Maybe he can solve it, or maybe he knows someone, or maybe he'll help us. Fairy Fan Yu trusted Tianyin very much and kept pushing. Sigh, if that's the case, we'll owe him a big favor, and a very big one at that. Star Lord Heavenly Cloud is a ruthless person, and he never suffers losses. If he helps us, it'll be equivalent to saving our entire force. At that time, The Tianfan ancestral land will probably truly merge with the heavenly cloud ancestral land. There's no need to mention this anymore. Didn't we send someone out? There should be news soon. Star-Lord Tianfan shook his head and refused to ask for help from Tianyan. Although it was an alliance before, if Tianyan came to help, it would not be as simple as an alliance. Tianyan, who was hiding at the side, touched his chin. He did not expect them to think of him like this. Ruthless person, that's right. Tianyan smiled. He was really a ruthless person. However, he had never thought of letting them merge with his force after saving them. Chapter 2027. Tianyan didn't appear immediately. He wanted to see what they could do. They were stubborn and didn't ask for help. After he stayed for a while, a disciple rushed in from outside. His face was pale, and he seemed to be injured. Lord Star-Lord, the Phoenix Fire Palace has been destroyed. The disciple reported the result as soon as he came in. What? The Phoenix Fire Palace has been destroyed? Who destroyed it? Tianfan Star-Lord and the others' faces sank. They didn't expect to receive such bad news. Tianyan had a strange expression on his face. They had gone to the Phoenix Fire Palace for help. It was a scam. If they really came to help, the things in the Tianfan ancestral land would probably be emptied. I'm not sure. I only know that it was destroyed by a star venerable. I don't know who it was. The disciple shook his head. He didn't get any information there. Instead, he was injured. It was obvious that he had encountered some danger. Why are you injured? Did something happen? Fairy fan, you ask. These are just minor injuries. The cultivators in the chaotic area are all bastards. They attacked me directly. Fortunately, I ran fast. The disciple's face was pale. If she had been caught, the consequences would be unimaginable. It seems like we can't count on the Phoenix Fire Palace. But there's other news. Let's wait. Tianfan Star-Lord looked a little better. After absorbing a lot of Devour energy, the situation became much better. They could still hold on, but this wasn't the solution. It was just treating the symptoms and not the root cause. Even if they absorbed most of it and the situation improved, it would probably appear again after a while. The news didn't wait for long. Soon, someone rushed in from outside. Although she wasn't injured, she didn't look good. She came over and knelt on one knee. She lowered her head and said in shame, Lord Star-Lord, I failed to live up to your expectations. This trip has failed. They rejected our request directly, saying they can't help. How is that possible? They're so proficient in the power of plants. They should be able to help. Fairy Fan, you was fuming at the side. It was fine if Phoenix Flame Palace was destroyed, but now it was rejected. This made her feel dissatisfied. Fan Yu, that's enough. The Tianfan Star Monarch gestured for her to calm down and sighed. It's not that they don't want to help, but that something has happened over there. Are they being threatened like us? Fairy Fan, you clenched her teeth. The Heavenly Brahmin, Star-Lord, sighed. Perhaps. The Green Devil race was terrifying. They once swept through this entire region. I didn't expect them to make a comeback and attack us first. The Green Demon race is terrifying, but I feel that those fellows who take advantage of others are even more terrifying. Fairy Fan, you said indignantly. We just got hit, and they already sent someone to say they can help us. They must have something to do with the Green Demon race. Otherwise, why would they immediately come over and say that they can help? It's enough to know these things. That's why I didn't agree to their request. They're forcing us to agree. They think that no one can solve the problem. We won't agree to their coercion no matter what. Star Monarch Tianfan, you looked at Fairy Fan Yu with a gentle gaze. Fan Yu, if anything happens to me, I'll leave the responsibility of the Tianfan ancestral land to you. Out of all the disciples, I'm most optimistic about you. Master, how can you say such a thing? I will go find Star Sovereign Heavenly Cloud now. He must have a way. Fairy Fan, you gritted her teeth and stood up. She was going to find Tianyan. Up until now, only Tianyan could help. Is this the only way? The Tianfan Star Monarch sighed deeply. All right then, go find Star Sovereign Heavenly Cloud. As long as the conditions are not too excessive, then agree to them. At this point, they could only ask Tianyan. They originally didn't want to ask Tianyan for help. They didn't expect Phoenix Flame Palace to be destroyed, and their request for reinforcements was rejected. In the end, they could only return and ask Etienne for help. Hearing this, Etienne's figure disappeared. He definitely wouldn't come out. If he did, they wouldn't be nice to him. No one likes someone eavesdropping on them. After Etienne came out, he didn't go back. Instead, he waited outside Tianfan Ancestral Land. Soon, Fairy Fan Yu came out. He pretended to go to Tianfan Ancestral Land and flew over. Lord Heavenly Cloud, Star Sovereign, Fan Yu Fairy quickly saw Etienne, and she was stunned. She didn't expect to see Etienne so coincidentally. We meet again. Coincidentally, I came here to ask something. It's about the alliance. Why did you reject it? Etienne pretended to know nothing and asked. About the alliance, it's a long story. Now, I have a very serious matter to discuss with you. If you help us, let alone the alliance, Tianfan Ancestral Lands matters will be our Tianfan Ancestral Lands matters. Fairy Fan Yu wasn't in control, but she represented the entire Tianfan Ancestral Land. Oh, then tell me. Etienne pretended to know nothing. Follow me first. Fairy Fan Yu quickly led Etienne in. The way was smooth. When they reached the room, Tianfan Star Monarch and the others were stunned. They didn't expect Etienne to come so quickly. After all, Fairy Fan Yu had just left. Star Sovereign Heavenly Cloud just happened to come over. He said that he would personally ask about the alliance, so I brought him in. Fairy Fan Yu explained. Tianfan Star Monarch and the others nodded in realization. It wasn't unexpected that he would come over to ask about the alliance. Sir Star Sovereign Heavenly Cloud, as you can see, we are all poisoned by the flower of darkness. I wonder if you can help us detoxify it. The general solution is to find a grade 4 celestial alchemist, or at least a grade 3 celestial alchemist. Since they couldn't find one, they could only choose to ask Etienne for help. Grade 3 celestial alchemist? Etienne showed a slight smile and said, "That's simple. I'm a grade 3 celestial alchemist." You're a grade 3 celestial alchemist? All along, they thought that Etienne was just focusing on cultivation, instead of specializing in professions such as Star Alchemist, which took a lot of time and effort, but Etienne didn't want to waste his time. Yes, I'm a grade 3 celestial alchemist. Is there a problem? Etienne smiled and said, maybe not a grade 4 celestial alchemist, but compared to a grade 4 celestial alchemist, I don't think I'm much worse. Chapter 2028. Heavenly Fan Star Monarch and the others thought that Etienne would find some helpers, who knew that he would do it himself, which made them feel worried. This, Heavenly Cloud Star Monarch, it's not that we don't trust you, but I don't know if you know any grade 4 celestial alchemists. In fact, even celestial alchemists need high skills to remove the flower of darkness. Therefore, the higher the grade, the better. If you fail, it is extremely easy to trigger some other effects. Heavenly Fan Star Monarch said tactfully. She just wanted Etienne to find a grade 4 celestial alchemist. The higher the grade, the better. If Etienne controlled it and failed, they could only endure it. Etienne doesn't know what they are worried about. They are worried that he won't be able to clean it up. He could understand this point. The flower of darkness was not an ordinary thing. A little carelessness could lead to serious consequences. I know what you are worried about, but even if you are worried, there are no other high-level celestial alchemists here. If you want to find a higher-level celestial alchemist, you will have to go to a faraway place. Etienne shook his head. At present, there were no grade 4 celestial alchemists in this area. The highest level was only a grade 3 celestial alchemist. Even if it was the Phoenix Flame Palace, the highest level was only a grade 3 celestial alchemy master. Any higher than that would most likely not exist in this area. I see. Their eyes were filled with disappointment. If that was the case, they could only bite the bullet. Then I'll go first. One of the elders bit the bullet and stepped forward. She planned to go first. Even if she failed, she would bear the consequences. At least, it was better than letting Heavenly Fan Star Monarch bear the consequences. Looking at their suicidal expressions, Etienne felt helpless. It seemed that if he did not have a reputation in this area, they would not believe him. If it was a fight, they would be willing to believe him. But this was not a fight, but a treatment. Although they knew that Tianyun was a celestial alchemist, they still felt worried. With such strong combat power, who knew how much effort he put into becoming a celestial alchemist? These were the things they were worried about. Only Fairy Fan Yu was not worried. She believed that Tianyun would definitely succeed. All right, then, you go first. Tianyun gestured for her to sit down. Then, he stretched out his hand, and the flame of chaos appeared. The scorching heat spread in all directions. When they saw the flame, their eyes widened. It was their first time seeing such a pure flame. Shortly after, Tianyun's palm landed on the elder's body. The primal chaos flames rapidly surged in and began to destroy the flower of darkness at a shocking speed. Under his superb control, the flower of darkness was ignited and quickly refined. Actually, Pil Grandmaster Xing didn't have to use too many techniques to destroy the flower of darkness. All he had to do was use his ability to control flames to refine the flower of darkness. It sounded simple, but it was very difficult to control. The slightest bit of carelessness would cause the flower of darkness to expand crazily and cause an explosion. Needless to say, the effect was to directly injure the host. Therefore, their worries were not without reason. If their souls were to be heavily injured, it would take a long time for them to recover. This would undoubtedly affect them greatly, so they had to be careful. However, Tianyun wasn't worried at all. He swept through the flower of darkness at a high speed and refined it. They could all see such a shocking speed clearly. The flower of darkness formed a black line on their bodies, which could be seen from the surface of their bodies. After the flame was poured into them, it would start burning the black line. As it burned and refined, sparks would appear. Under normal circumstances, it would be refined bit by bit. However, Tianyun was quite domineering. He swept through the flower of darkness as if he had a pair of scissors in his hand and was cutting the flower of darkness. They were all scared by this. However, they didn't dare to speak. They just stood there dumbfounded and looked on in fear. If it were someone else, they would have cursed him. What if the flower of darkness exploded? However, Tianyun was different. He was a star venerable, who could change the way a star venerable handled things. Therefore, they could only pray that their elders could hold on. Tianyun looked quite calm. He swept through the flower of darkness. In the blink of an eye, he had dealt with the flower of darkness. Soon, he reached the most important part, the flower of darkness. The flower of darkness was in the Dantian. Once it exploded, everything would be in vain. The flower of darkness was just an appetizer. The flower of darkness was the most important part. When they saw Tianyun didn't slow down at all, they were so nervous. They were afraid something bad would happen. Some of them even prepared to defend themselves. Once the flower of darkness exploded, they would be affected. The elder being treated by Tianyun had closed her eyes. She had devoted herself to the flower of darkness. We are doomed. I hope we can stay alive. This elder used all of her power to protect her soul. She wanted to protect as much as she could. However, when they all thought something bad had happened, the flower of darkness was refined easily. There was no problem at all. That's enough. Next, Tianyun gestured for the next elder to come over. He had a calm expression on his face. He was calm, but the others were dumbfounded. They looked at the state of their companions. They were all refined. The flower of darkness was gone. His terrifying speed and control could be said to be freakish. They had never seen such a shocking speed in their lives. Tianyun was an alchemist in the past. Now he was just a star alchemist. His control was still amazing. Especially with his powerful strength as a foundation, he was able to grasp the most perfect state. What? No one is coming up. When Tianyun saw that they were all dumbfounded, he laughed in his heart. If he didn't show them what he was capable of, they wouldn't know how big the world was. I'll go. At this moment, another elder came up. However, they were still a little worried. Maybe the first one was just lucky. However, they were disappointed. Tianyun didn't slow down. He didn't fail either. Instead, His speed was even faster than the first time. Sweeping all the way, he immediately removed the flower of darkness. It was a piece of cake. Next, Etianyun waved his hand and motioned for them to continue. Immediately, another elder came up. They still didn't let Heavenly Fan Star Monarch come up. They just wanted to use them as test subjects. Even if it was the second elder, they still needed to be cautious. However, after treating a few more elders, they completely believed that Etianyun could easily cure the flower of darkness. Moreover, he didn't seem to be panting. Is he really a grade 3 celestial alchemist? Chapter 2029. Astonishing speed, astonishing control, all of which shocked them. His technique was as smooth as floating clouds and flowing water. They were dumbfounded and began to doubt their own common sense. The flower of darkness was a relatively famous, ominous flower. It was very troublesome to deal with, and once infected, it would be very difficult to remove. This was why they were so worried. It was not something that could be removed by a random celestial alchemist. However, Etianyun broke their common sense. So what if he was a grade 3 celestial alchemist? He could easily remove it. He was even stronger than a grade 4 celestial alchemist. They were all stunned by what they saw. Thinking of what Etianyun had said before, they realized that Etianyun was not lying. He really was strong. Next, Etianyun continued to wave his hand, gesturing to the next person. Only then did they recover from their shock and let the next person come over. I told you, Heavenly Cloud Star Venerable can definitely help us solve it. Fairy Fan, you was pleasantly surprised. Although she believed in Etianyun before, she was still a little worried. Now, Etianyun swept all the way and easily removed the flower of darkness from most of them. It was a piece of cake. It didn't take long for Etianyun to completely remove the flower of darkness in their bodies, including Heavenly Brahmin Star Lord's flower of darkness. Okay, it's all done. Etianyun exhaled. Although everything seemed easy, the consumption was not low. After all, it required great control, and there was no room for error. Now he had to deal with so many flowers of darkness at once, which required a lot of energy. If it weren't for his breakthrough in cultivation, he wouldn't have been able to master this aspect. Lord Heavenly Cloud, Star Venerable, you are really amazing. So many flowers of darkness, yet you managed to get rid of them. Looking at this area, even grade 4 or grade 5 celestial alchemists do not have such power. Heavenly Brahmin Star Lord was not stingy with her praise. She was truly shocked. She was experienced and knowledgeable, but this was the first time she had seen someone who could deal with flowers of darkness so easily. That's an exaggeration. Etianyun smiled and said, speaking of which, how did you get planted with the darkness flower? Logically speaking, it should be obvious with a glance. The Heavenly Brahmin Star Lord was extremely embarrassed. He sighed and said, there were spies among us. They used some methods to mix it into the pills, and we fell for it after taking it. Another spy. Looks like you'll have to put more effort into this. Etianyun squinted his eyes and looked at Fairy Fan Yu with a hidden meaning. Last time when Fairy Fan Yu went to pick the 9 Revolution Stargrass, she met a spy. If it wasn't for Etianyun, she would have died in the 5-element mountain. That's right. After this, I'll definitely strengthen it more. The Brahmastar Monarch's eyes were filled with killing intent. This time, they had learned a profound lesson. They naturally knew how to control themselves. So you're saying that you refused to form an alliance with us because of this? Etianyun feigned ignorance and asked. Yes, the situation at that time was special, and it was difficult to form an alliance. But other than that, there's another reason. The Brahmastar Monarch's eyes were filled with helplessness. How could they form an alliance when they looked so sick? Just as they were about to continue chatting, a guard came in from outside and reported, My lord, those people are here again. They want to know if we've thought it through. They still dare to come. The Brahmastar Monarch's eyes turned cold. Just as he was about to rush out angrily, he thought of something and looked at Etianyun and said, My lord Heavenly Cloud Star Sovereign, they think they can help us get rid of the darkness flower. But we have to agree to one condition. This condition is not to form an alliance with my lord. Oh, this condition is really special. Not to form an alliance with me. Etienne's eyes turned cold. Did you find out where they came from? We can't find out. Their identities are extremely mysterious, and their cultivation is not weak. One of them is even a star monarch. They come and go without a trace, and we can't find any traces. The Brahma star monarch's eyes turned cold. I speculate that the traitor inside is probably related to them. Right after they were poisoned, they sent people over. They don't seem to be worried about being seen through it all. Is that so? Etienne rubbed his chin and narrowed his eyes as he pondered. It wasn't unreasonable for them to be so arrogant. The darkness flower was extremely difficult to deal with, so it was equivalent to having a handle on them. How could they not be arrogant? This was equivalent to saying that only he had the antidote. Even if they knew that he was the one who poisoned them, if they didn't ask him for the antidote, they would just be waiting for death. This kind of arrogance made people feel helpless. You couldn't force anything out of the traitor you caught? Etienne asked. No, they were completely crazy. There was something special planted in their bodies, but I don't know what it is. It should be some kind of creature controlling them. Once they were caught, they turned into idiots. The Brahma star monarch shook his head, and the anger in his eyes burned even brighter. There's actually such a move? Looks like I have to go and meet this group of people. Etienne smiled faintly. My lord, this is our internal matter. Let us handle it ourselves. The Brahma star monarch shook his head, indicating for Etienne not to interfere. This is your internal matter, yes, but it has something to do with us. Logically speaking, after forming an alliance, we are allies. If you have something to do, I naturally have to handle it well, Etienne said solemnly. The Brahma star monarch was startled. After a moment of silence, he nodded. Lord Heavenly Cloud, Star Venerable, I was too naive. If you can help us handle this matter, our Brahma ancestral land will completely join you in the future. She thought about it, and finally decided to completely join them instead of forming an alliance. She thought about it, and felt that it was a good choice to join a reliable ally. In addition, they were already very compatible with Shuyun, so there was indeed a feeling of kinship. Now that Etienne had helped them so much, they might as well completely join them. All right, Etienne's eyes lit up. He did not expect things to go so smoothly. This was not just a simple alliance, but a large group of experts joining them. Then leave it to me. I will definitely give you a satisfactory answer. However, I'm guessing that the power behind them is definitely not simple. Could it be that Lord Heavenly Cloud Star Venerable has already investigated something? The Brahma Star Monarch asked doubtfully. I haven't investigated anything yet. I just found out how to investigate. The main thing is that I encountered a special situation previously. Someone wanted to plant a spy in our ranks. I'm sure you've all heard of this force, Etienne said with narrowed eyes. What force? They all craned their necks to look over. Chapter 2030. The Master of Star Origin. Their expressions changed. If they didn't even know who the Master of Star Origin was, they would really be idiots. The Master of Star Origin, who was in charge of the Star Origin field, was extremely powerful and famous. They all believed that the Master of Star Origin would one day come with a large number of experts to occupy the burning desolation field. However, after so many years, the Master of Star Origin hadn't done so. They were quite curious about this. The burning desolation field didn't have a master, and there weren't any Star Venerables here. If a Star Venerable expert came here, he would be able to defeat everyone here. That's right. It's the Master of Star Origin behind this. I don't know whether it's the Master of Star Origin who stopped you from allying with us. If it's him, I'll remember this grudge. Etienne's gaze was ice cold. He wasn't even afraid of the Master of Star Origin. Since the Master of Star Origin was in such a predicament, he could only take action. He wouldn't show mercy if he deserved to be killed. Although he was rumored to be very powerful, he wasn't afraid of the Master of Star Origin. He would rather risk his life than surrender. They looked at each other in dismay and saw shock in each other's eyes. That was the Master of Star Origin. From their expressions, it was obvious that they didn't know about the Master of Star Origin's trouble. They were just threatened by a group of mysterious people. They didn't think about the Master of Star Origin either. Who could have expected that they would be targeted by the Master of Star Origin? Regardless of whether they were sent by the Master of Star Origin or not, I'll go and inquire about them. I'll just follow them. Etianyan didn't choose to expose his identity right away. Instead, he hid in a corner and observed the situation. The heavenly Brahmin, Star Monarch, nodded. At the thought of facing the Master of Star Origin, she was slightly flustered. She was facing a Star Venerable, not a Star Monarch. The reason she dared to confront the ancestral land of the Jade God was that the ancestral land of the Jade God didn't have a Star Venerable. If the ancestral land of the Jade God had a Star Venerable, they could only surrender. Otherwise, they would die. Then the heavenly Brahmin Star Monarch looked at Fairy Fan Yu and said, "Fan Yu, go and communicate with them. Let's see what they can say." They didn't all go out. Otherwise, they wouldn't be able to see their ugly faces if they discovered that they didn't have the Flower of Darkness. Fairy Fan Yu nodded and walked out. Etianyan followed behind, but when they reached the edge of the passageway outside, he stopped. If he went out again, he would be exposed. After all, most of the people here were female cultivators. If a male cultivator suddenly appeared, it would be suspicious. As for asking him to disguise himself as a female cultivator, he would rather hide on the side and watch. In any case, it didn't make much difference. Soon, he saw that the three cultivators were wearing cloaks that covered their faces. He couldn't see their faces at all. However, Xiao Chan could clearly sense that the leader was an early-stage Star Venerate, not a weak level. To send a Star Venerate to negotiate with, that person's background was probably not simple. No wonder the Brahma ancestral land was so cautious. When Etianyan looked over, his eyes narrowed, and he immediately removed the cloak's concealing effects. He displayed the true state of the three in front of him, the Green Demon race. That's right. These three experts were actually from the Green Demon race. This made Etianyan's heart sink. He had not expected the Green Demon race to come. Logically speaking, if the Master of Star Origin had sent someone to cause trouble, he should have sent an ordinary cultivator. Could it be that the Master of Star Origin is colluding with the Green Demon race, or is he a Green Demon himself? Etianyan was startled, suddenly having this terrifying thought. It looked like the Green Demon race was suppressed by the five-color Divine race. But was it really the entire Green Demon race? The suppressed Green Demon race was just the Green Demon race that had not come out. Would the Green Demon race that had come out be exterminated? This was really hard to say. There would definitely be fish that slipped through the net, and it just depended on where they were hiding. However, it was indeed rare to see the Green Demon race in the burning desolate region. Now, they appeared more frequently. There were some in the chaotic region, and now there were three more. However, they were wrapped tightly, and Xiao Chun couldn't see their appearances. If the Master of Star Origin is really a green demon, given the pressure from the five-element mountain, he might not dare to attack personally. Is he afraid of being exposed? Etianyan speculated. The fog gradually cleared up. Perhaps many spies had already been planted in the burning, desolate region. Perhaps one of the factions had already become a puppet. It looks like there are many problems. This is all my speculation. The truth still depends on them. Etianyan stared at the three. If he wanted to find out more, he had to search their souls. Extorting confessions was meaningless these days. If only he could see through their thoughts, that would be perfect. Unfortunately, there was no such divine technique. It would be great if there was such a divine technique. Are you still not willing to agree? If you still don't agree, the flower of darkness will take root in your bodies. At that time, you will have to pay an even greater price. The leader of the Green Demon Star Venerates said in a hoarse voice, a hint of schadenfreude in his hoarse voice. Clearly, they did not know that Etianyan had already helped them deal with the flower of darkness. From this, it could be seen that the spies had already been eliminated. For now, they would not leak any information. As for the situation outside, it was hard to say. In any case, when Fairy Fan Yu brought Etianyan in, they had sneaked in and not come in through the front door. They were also afraid of being discovered. Humph! The ones who planted the flower of darkness seeds on us were the people you sent, right? Fairy Fan, you did not need to be secretive this time. Instead, she directly interrogated them. Previously, they did not speak openly, mainly to leave a way out for themselves. However, it was different now. With Etienne's help, they had dealt with all the flower of darkness. Naturally, they had nothing to worry about. So what if it is? So what if it isn't? The solution is with us. Don't count on the Fire Phoenix Palace or the Lifeform race. They cannot deal with the flower of darkness. Only we can deal with it in our best condition. Of course, even if the Lifeform race can deal with it, they will not dare to help you. I think you can guess the details. The green demon, Star Venerate, smiled sinisterly. Cut the nonsense. Just agree to our conditions. You cannot ally with the Heavenly Cloud Ancestral Land. Of course, there's another condition. Join us. I forgot to tell you before, but there's another condition. Joining us is definitely better than allying with the Heavenly Cloud Ancestral Land. In terms of power, we are definitely stronger than the Heavenly Cloud Ancestral Land. As for the newly promoted Heavenly Cloud, Star Venerate, he is just a small fry. The green demon, Star Venerate, was really bold. He was not afraid of offending Etienne. Chapter 2031. Fairy Fan, you snickered in her heart. These people are really seeking death. Little do they know that Etienne is right beside them. Hearing that, he will probably crush them to death. It's not that we can't join you, but if you don't tell us what faction you belong to, how would we dare to ally with you? If your entire faction only has 3 people, won't we suffer a huge loss? Who doesn't know how to brag? Fairy Fan, you started to fish for information. She was not worried that the other party would get angry. After all, the Flower of Darkness had already been cured. There were no future problems. When facing them, how could he not investigate them thoroughly? Little girl, don't test our patience. Now that the Flower of Darkness is on you, it's your loss to buy more time, not ours. This is no longer about our real situation. We have to consider your real situation. Do you understand? The Green Devil Star Monarch shook his head. His tone was filled with disdain. He felt that Fairy Fan, you had no negotiation skills. The initiative was in their hands, so there was no point in saying anything else. If that's the case, then we can only choose to refuse. You haven't even provided the most basic information. How are we supposed to cooperate? Fairy Fan, you snorted coldly. I don't believe that no one in this region can deal with the Flower of Darkness. You're too young. Our Flower of Darkness is no ordinary Flower of Darkness. Since that's the case, we'll give you some time to think about it. Of course, that's for your bodies. It's best if you can endure it, but if you can't. The Green Devil Star Monarch laughed sinisterly and continued. Let me remind you that no one in this region can deal with the Flower of Darkness unless you go to another region. The problem is, can you leave this region easily? The Green Devil Star Monarch laughed loudly. The threat in his voice was obvious. Under their arrangements, the people from the Brahma Ancestral Land would be stopped if they left to find help. The prerequisite was that they could find help. For example, the life forms they sought were threatened and did not dare to help. This was to cut off all help at the source. Bastard! Fairy Fan, you stomped her feet in anger. Even though she already knew about the situation, she could not help but feel furious when they said it. Bastard? The Green Devil Star Venerate laughed loudly and said, By the way, we are not targeting just you. The other factions are doing the same. Therefore, you don't have to worry about being too lonely. There are still many who will accompany you. Of course, there are also many who have chosen a compromise. The Green Devil Star Sovereign divulged some information. However, this information was of little value. Etienne could guess that they didn't just control one faction. They must have spread out and controlled most of them. It seems like you really aren't afraid of Star Sovereign Heavenly Cloud. Fairy Fan, you said coldly. Who does Heavenly Cloud, Star Venerate, think he is? In the hands of our master, he can easily toy with him to death. The Green Demon Star Sovereign laughed hoarsely and said, Right now, we are just sparing his life. He still has some value. Then who is your master? Goddess Fan Yu continued. Little girl, there's no need to ask any more questions. You are still too inexperienced if you want to get any information out of us. The Green Devil Star Monarch smiled faintly. I will give you one last bit of time. Think about it. Is it the Master of Star Origin? Goddess Fan Yu suddenly asked. The Green Devil Star Monarch fell silent for a while. Then he said in a deep voice, Little girl, it is meaningless to guess randomly. Think about it carefully. Then they planned to leave. They didn't plan to break in by force. What they needed was control, not corpses. When Tianyun saw that they were about to leave, he knew it was about time. In the next second, he immediately appeared in front of the three of them. He waved his hand and enveloped them, instantly restraining them. How could they resist the great power of a star venerable? Open. Tianyun waved his hand and removed their cloaks, revealing the characteristics of the Green Demon Clan. The Green Demon Clan? Goddess Fan Yu and the others were shocked when they saw them. They didn't expect that the Green Demon Clan, an extremely ferocious clan, would send people to negotiate with them. A small fry? Who do I think I am? Tianyun wore a smile on his face. Looking at the Green Demon Clan, which he had pinned to the ground, he said with a smile, Did the Master of Star Origin send you here? You are the Heavenly Cloud Star Venerable. Why are you here? Their faces sank. They didn't expect that Tianyun would be here. Why can't I be here? Tianyun said with a faint smile. Not only did I come here, but I also ruined your plan. After he spoke, the Tian Fan Star Monarch and the others walked out one after another. They opened their eyes wide and looked at the Tian Fan Star Monarch and the others, sizing them up. They were all stunned by the situation in front of them. The flowers of darkness they had planted had all been destroyed. The flowers of darkness are gone? The Green Demon Star Monarch was stupefied. They knew how stubborn the flowers of darkness they had planted were. But now, such stubborn flowers of darkness had disappeared without a trace. Not even a bit was left. Didn't you say that the flowers of darkness couldn't be dealt with? Unfortunately, I happen to know how to deal with them, so I dealt with them. Tianyun looked at them and smiled faintly. Now, I want to see what is going on in your heads. Tianyun reached out and grabbed the head of one of the Grandmasters, frantically extracting the memories within. Soon, the Grandmaster fell limp to the ground, his soul shattered from the search. He wasn't dead, but he had basically become an empty husk. Oh, I still don't have many memories, but I do have some general information. Tianyun smiled faintly. The Master of Astral Origin. It is indeed the Master of Astral Origin's doing. Why did he suddenly do such a thing? I really have to continue investigating. Then, he grabbed another Grandmaster Xing and frantically searched his soul. However, the information he obtained was basically the same. Now, the only one left was the Green Demon Star Monarch. The Green Demon Star Monarch was completely restrained. He couldn't self-detonate, let alone move. Tianyun feared that the Green Demon Star Monarch would commit suicide. Hence, he used his strongest power to seal off their movements. I wonder if I can find more information from your soul? Tianyun's gaze shifted to the Green Demon Star Monarch. He smiled faintly, looking like a demon. The Green Demon Star Monarch's expression turned unsightly. He roared, Just kill me. No matter how much you search my soul, it is useless. Very soon, the Lord will bring people to kill their way over and rule this region. Chapter 2032. Rule over the desolate incineration region. When Tianyun heard this, he smiled disapprovingly. If they could rule it, they would have done so long ago. What you're worried about is the Five Elements Mountain, right? The Green Devil Star Monarch's expression changed. He had not expected Tianyun to mention the Five Element Mountain. However, he did not reply. Instead, he kept his mouth shut. Five Element Mountain? Fairy Fan Yu and the others were confused. They did not know what Tianyun meant. That's right, the Five Element Mountain. The Five Element Mountain has the five-color divine race, which specializes in suppressing the Green Devil race. Of course, the Green Devil race is not afraid of the five-color divine race, and neither is the Master of Star Origin. They are afraid of the five-element mountain's master. Etionyan grinned, revealing his pearly white teeth. Do you think I'm right? The green devil star monarch's expression turned unsightly. It seemed that Etionyan's words had hit the nail on the head. Some memories could not be searched. However, Etionyan seemed to have found the right point and kept digging out the problems. Seeing the green devil star monarch's expression, Etionyan felt that he had guessed correctly. The Master of Star Origin did not dare to attack, because he was afraid of the five-element mountain's master. They did not know if the five-element mountain's master was still alive. If he was, then the Master of Star Origin's attack would be equivalent to exposing his identity. Once the five-element mountain's master appeared, the Master of Star Origin would have to suppress him. Hence, he could only infiltrate and control the factions here. Then, he could use other methods to destroy the five-element mountain. Alternatively, he could scout the surroundings and obtain detailed information on the five-element mountain's master. This was just his speculation. Only they knew what he was really thinking. Nonsense. Our Lord has never been afraid of anyone. The green devil star monarch roared. Right now, all he could do was roar and shout. Now that he had been seen through, he could only admit it. After all, his companions' souls had been searched. Etionyan already knew who the mastermind was. If you're not afraid of anyone, then why didn't you come over earlier and take back your territory? Why didn't you just watch as the five colors divine race sealed your lair? How laughable! Etionyan shook his head. It was not convincing at all. Even a star venerable didn't dare come back to save the situation when his lair was suppressed. How could he not be afraid? If this wasn't being fearless, then what was? The green devil star sovereign was rendered speechless. For a moment, he had no words to refute. It's almost time to send you to hell. I will look for your master and let him know who he can mess with and who he can't mess with. Etionyan said as he grabbed the old man's head and continued to search his soul. Xiao Chun had wasted so much time talking to this green devil star venerate because he wanted the green devil star venerate to talk more, trigger more memories, and let him know more. Since Xiao Chun couldn't search more memories, he could only use such a stupid method. My lord won't let you off. He will properly enjoy you. The green devil star venerate laughed crazily, but soon he rolled his eyes. Then Etionyan searched his mind for more memories. Sure enough, he hadn't been talking to him for nothing. Properly enjoy me? So this is what it means. After Etionyan understood this, his eyes became filled with doubt. What the green devil star venerate meant was that the Master of Star Origin had specifically instructed him not to kill him or harm him. As for why this was the case, Xiao Chun didn't know. The green devil star venerate's deep memories were too difficult to search, so he could only give up. After all, even though his body was sealed, his soul couldn't be sealed. This was why he could struggle crazily. As he resisted, his soul shattered. Dong, the green devil star venerate lay paralyzed on the ground, his body twitching involuntarily. It looked like he was still alive, but his soul had shattered long ago. Even a deity could not save him. Etionyan did his best to extract all of the green devil star venerate's memories. He extracted as much as he could, not letting go of even a single memory. As a result, the green devil star venerate's soul shattered completely. He didn't even get a chance to reattach it. Ordinary soul searching would at most leave a slight injury. However, this had completely shattered the green devil star venerate's soul. Seeing the green devil star venerate paralyzed on the ground like a dead dog, the heavenly Brahmin star venerate had mixed feelings. Despite being such a powerful star venerate, Etionyan had been able to do as he pleased, unable to resist at all. This made the heavenly Brahmin star venerate sigh. Before great power, killing experts was like slaughtering dogs. This allowed the heavenly Brahmin star venerate to witness the great power of a star venerate. It also allowed the heavenly Brahmin ancestral lands elders to see how terrifying a star venerate was. They rarely saw battles between experts. It was already pretty good to see a star venerate fight a star venerate. Now that they saw a star venerate fight a star venerate, they could not bear to watch. The green devil star venerate completely suppressed the star venerate, unable to resist at all. Etionyan knew what they were thinking. It would be for the best if they could think the same. This would make them revere him. Then, he stomped the green devil star venerate into a mist of blood. He would not let go of so many experience points. After killing the green devil star venerate, he dropped a bunch of star energy and kill points. Killing a star venerate is pretty good. That's how I get more star energy. Etionyan shook his head and looked at the people around him. He discovered that they were all dumbfounded. A mighty star venerate had been killed just like that. This was quite shocking to them. The situation has been resolved for now. However, the other factions should be facing similar situations. Compared to that, I have to deal with someone first. Etionyan's gaze was ice cold. Master of Star Origin, they spoke in a daze. When they heard the words, Master of Star Origin, they all felt a sense of fear. That's right, it's the Master of Star Origin, Etionyan said calmly. Since he's forced us to this extent, then let's get rid of him first. Once we've dealt with the Master of Star Origin, there won't be any problems. You guys stay here. I'll be leaving first. Etionyan turned around, intending to leave. Things had already reached this point. If he stayed here instead of killing the Master of Star Origin, then he would be too vexed. Lord Heavencloud, Star Venerate. The Heavenly Brahmin, Star Venerate, called out to Etionyan. When Etionyan turned around, the Heavenly Brahmin, Star Venerate, knelt on one knee and solemnly said, Our Heavenly Brahmin ancestral land will forever follow Lord Heavencloud, Star Venerate. From this day forth, the Heavenly Brahmin ancestral land will pledge allegiance to the Heavencloud ancestral land. Good. Etionyan's eyes lit up, and he smiled. I'll let you know that your choice was correct, not wrong. What Master of Star Origin? He's not even worth mentioning in front of me. Chapter 2033. Etionyan didn't go to the Star Origin field right away. He still had to manage the Heavenly Cloud ancestral land's affairs, such as returning to make elixirs. He had broken through to become a star alchemist, so he had to make elixirs for his faction. The Heavenly Cloud ancestral land's level was still quite low, and it urgently needed to improve its strength. Except for some high-level members who could force him to pour star energy into them to improve their cultivation, the rest would have to rely on elixirs to improve themselves. Now that he had defeated so many factions, he had gotten many divine medicines, and they were the most suitable for making elixirs. After making elixirs, he could give them to others, and the Heavenly Cloud ancestral land's power would increase greatly. After returning, Etionyan briefly told them what had happened. The Heavenly Brahmin ancestral land surrender was a happy occasion. But after learning that the Star Origin Master was behind all this, they lost their mood. Facing such a powerful existence, they felt even more pressured. Even though Etionyan was a Star Venerable, he was still worried. After all, the Star Origin Master was a veteran Star Venerable, and it would be difficult to deal with him. Moreover, the Star Origin Master controlled the whole Star Origin field, and with a wave of his hand, he could mobilize all factions at once. He was really powerful. Although Etionyan was a Star Venerable, he didn't have complete control over this area. There were still many factions that he could only cater to on the surface, and no one knew what they were thinking. If they really attacked, these factions would only send a small number of cultivators. It was impossible for them to send all of them. After all, obeying Etionyan didn't mean that they would risk their lives. Risking their lives against the Star Origin field was no different from throwing their lives away. However, the Star Origin Master was different, and he could do whatever he wanted. Otherwise, how could he be called the Star Origin Master? The Master of the Star Origin field was the Star Origin Master. Etionyan, what do you plan to do in the future? Sure, Shuiyun and the others looked at Etionyan. They wanted to hear what Etionyan had to say. Etionyan glanced at them, and from their eyes, he saw a bit of worry. He smiled faintly and said, What other plans can I have? I'll head to the Star Origin domain myself and kill the Star Origin Master. It's that simple. I knew it. You've always been like this. Sure, Shuiyun and the others shook their heads. They were not surprised by Yi Tianyun's words at all. Whenever something like this happened, Yi Tianyun would face it head-on alone. They didn't even need to make a move to solve the problem. What about us? What do we think? Sure, Shuiyun and the others did not want to be a vase. They still wanted to do something for Yi Tianyun. They did not want to stand behind and watch. There are also many things that you need to do. Yi Tianyun looked at them and said with a smile, in addition to improving your strength, the other thing is to help me gather the most detailed information. Yi Tianyun briefly explained the situation of the green demon race and the flower of darkness. They also had to be careful, or else they would end up like the Tianfan ancestral land. Information is always the most important. Dig out all the spies and thoroughly investigate the situation of the outside forces. This is the task I'm giving to you. Of course, if necessary, you will personally get rid of them. Yi Tianyun looked at them with a sharp gaze. Can you do this? No problem. They laughed at the same time. Their beautiful eyes were filled with determination and a hint of viciousness. They had never been soft-hearted when it came to doing things. They would kill those who deserved to be killed. They would not be soft-hearted. Good. All along, you have never disappointed me. Yi Tianyun looked at them. Although they were all women, they could also handle everything well. Then I'll leave this place to you. I'll head to the star origin domain first. Then, be careful. Sure, Shuiyun's eyes were filled with worry. They did not stop him. They knew that if they did, the consequences would be even worse. If they did not take the initiative to attack, it would be the most dangerous when they attacked. Don't worry, no one can stop your husband. Yi Tianyun smiled and continued. I will continue to stay here for a while. I will first refine pills here, and when I'm done, I will move out. Immediately, he began to refine pills, using crazy mode to greatly increase the speed of alchemy. Ding! Successfully refined Great Spirit Pill. Reward: 5,000 star energy points. Reward: 100 proficiency. Ding! Successfully refined Great Spirit Pill. Reward: 5,000 star energy points. Ding! Just like in the past, he obtained star energy and proficiency from refining pills, which made him very satisfied. If he continued to refine pills like this, it would not be a problem for him to break through to level 4 Celestial Alchemist. As he continued to refine pills, large batches of pills were refined. Soon, a large number of pills were refined, enough to nurture a group of super elites. Not bad. I can basically create a large group of Star Grandmasters. Yi Tianyun's eyes flashed as he looked at the large number of pills. As long as he distributed them well, nurturing a group of Star Grandmasters would not be a problem. As for becoming a Celestial Lord, that was a bit more difficult. Not only did it require resources, but it also required a certain level of talent. When the preparations were almost complete, Yi Tianyun headed for the Star Domain, a brand new domain. Entering deep into the other party's territory was generally unwise, but if he did not do so, he would be in a passive position. Yi Tianyun had never liked to be passive. Instead, he liked to take the initiative and grasp all the initiative in his hands. At the same time, the Master of Star Origin also received the latest news. There are no signs of life over at Lingnan's side? The Master of Star Origin asked, his eyes sharp. Yes, we found that their life tokens have been shattered, which means they are all dead. They knelt on the ground, not daring to look up at the Master of Star Origin. Good job. They died over there. There's only one possibility. They were killed by Star Venerate Heavenly Cloud. I'm well aware of their strength. They're not people who can be killed so easily. The Master of Star Origin voiced his deduction. However, there was no anger on his face. Instead, he smiled and said, It seems that he has made a move on his side. I left so many clues. I wonder if he has found them. Based on his character, he seems to like to fight his way through. In that case, I will wait here for him to deliver himself to me. I originally wanted to nurture them for a while longer, but it seems that it is time to reap the harvest. The Master of Star Origin licked his lips, as if everything was going as he had expected. It seemed that he had come up with so many plans just to lure Yi Tianyun over. Pass down my order. Summon all the Celestial Lords. Whoever dares to disobey will die. The Master of Star Origin slapped his chair and revealed a bright smile. He did not look fierce at all. Instead, there was a hint of sunshine. Chapter 2034. Eteonian soon arrived at the Star Origin domain. The Star Origin domain was similar to the burning desolate region. However, he had to pass through the chaotic region to reach the Star Origin domain. It was not difficult for Xiao Chun to pass through. He could pass through it easily. Just this disordered region alone was enough to stop a group of cultivators from coming over. To cross the disordered region, not only did one need courage, but one's own strength as well. The most dangerous part of the chaotic region was naturally the cultivators. However, the most difficult part of stopping most cultivators from crossing the two regions was the chaotic region's danger zone. It would be difficult to pass through this danger zone without being a Star Master or above. Even a Star Master would be in danger. Generally speaking, a team would pass through it. Otherwise, they would die if they were not careful. Even if a team passed through, they might be wiped out. Of course, this was not a problem for Eteonian. He could easily pass through it and reach the Star Origin domain. This is the Star Origin domain. Sensing the aura here, Eteonian did not feel too strong of an impact. In fact, it was more or less the same. It was just that it was separated. It was not like in the lower realm when Fan Yu went to the deity domain. The plane was actually the same, and the energy contained in it was naturally the same. Under such circumstances, it was impossible to have any sort of impact. After Eteonian arrived in this unfamiliar territory, he started to inquire about this place. It was easy to find information here. He could buy a rough introduction of this place from any random shop. After reading it, Eteonian had a general understanding of the situation here. There were indeed more powerful factions here than the burning desolate region. There were many ancestral lands here. There were at least 10 ancestral land factions, which meant that there were at least 10 star venerates. The burning desolate region had at most 5 or 6 ancestral land factions, which was far from this place. The key was that the Star Origin Master had absolute control. In this place, the Star Origin Master was not only called a Master, but he was also called the Divine Guide. The meaning of the Divine Guide was simple and crude. It was to guide them to a stronger future. In this region, the Star Origin Master had a relatively high reputation. He was like a god in their hearts. He was like a god. Basically, everything he did was right. If someone said something wrong about him on the street, he would definitely be beaten up. In serious cases, he would be arrested and sentenced to death. This was the status of the Master of Star Origin. In this place, he could get whatever he wanted. Whoever opposed the Star Origin Master was basically opposing the entire Star Origin field. This was also the reason why the Star Origin Master's status was so stable here. The Star Origin Master had contributed a lot here. He was very generous and had spread all kinds of martial techniques. He even recruited all sorts of disciples to join him. There were dozens of disciples under him and over 100 unnamed disciples. Ordinary Star Venerables weren't willing to take in disciples. They would only choose people carefully before taking them as disciples. The Master of Star Origin, on the other hand, was different. He recruited all kinds of disciples and nurtured them well. This was because of the Star Origin Star. Of Star was different. With Star, the Master Wu Realm, and the Origin martial techniques. And Masters and Star-level Star, Master would give. This was one thing. The most important thing was that the Origin Master would spread the cultivation methods he had created, which were at least at the star field level. After all, it was unimaginable in the burning, desolate domain. This was crazy. How could it not be crazy to share star field level martial techniques? The Star Origin Master would often distribute all kinds of treasures. But he didn't just distribute them. He held competitions like martial arts competitions. Besides his own disciples, everyone could participate. As long as they got a certain ranking, they would get the corresponding treasures. In addition to these, there were also many arrangements. For example, he arranged missions to exterminate giant beasts, or he helped some small families grow. All these actions were like that of a great lord. How could people not love such a great lord? When he ruled properly, everyone was willing to obey the Star Origin Master's orders. After understanding this, Tianyun couldn't help but shake his head. He didn't expect that his idea had already been implemented. Moreover, it had been implemented by his enemy, the Star Origin Master. He had also spread his influence in the heavenly cloud ancestral land after stabilizing it. Using carrots and sticks was the best way to rule. In order to stand firm, the most basic requirement was to have unparalleled power, not this kind of benevolence. However, if one wanted to stabilize it in the future, one had to use carrots and sticks. If one continued being domineering, one would be overthrown sooner or later. As long as one's experts died or something happened, one would immediately counterattack. This was the reason why one didn't have enough loyalty. For example, the Jade God Ancestral Land was a good example. It was powerful, but it was too domineering. As a result, other factions didn't have enough loyalty. As a result, there were many who fought back, and there were even fewer who helped out. The Star Origin Master paid more attention to this issue. He wouldn't be domineering just because he was a Star Venerable. He still took care of other factions. Tianyun couldn't help but sigh. If he hadn't known the real situation, he would have been deceived by this guy. The Green Demon Clan can never be changed. Tianyun's gaze turned cold. No matter how much he did, he would just be a puppet for the Star Origin Master. The Green Demon Clan wasn't welcomed here. So, if he wanted to stabilize his influence, he had to do this. He had to stabilize the factions first. Then, he would help him take back everything. I really can't attack the Star Origin Master at will here. Once I attack him, I'll be attacked by all factions. It's no wonder that the Star Origin Master is so stable. It turns out that he has such prestige. After understanding this, Tianyun didn't plan to retreat. Instead, he flew toward the Star Origin Master's region, the Star Origin Divine Palace. The Star Origin Master stayed in the Star Origin Divine Palace, which was located in the center of this region. The towering tower was the best proof. The tower connected to the stars could be seen in the distance. No one can stop me from killing him. I'll kill anyone who dares to stop me. Tianyun jumped and flew toward the tower. He didn't go to other places or arrange for spies. He didn't want to waste his time. He just wanted to kill. Chapter 2035. All the star venerates of the Star Origin Field had gathered in the Star Origin Divine Palace. There were as many as 11 star venerates, which was a shocking number. Although they were star venerates, they were still waiting respectfully for the Star Origin Master's arrival. They were chatting and laughing with each other. It seemed like they had a good relationship with each other. It seemed like the relationship between the forces here was quite peaceful. They would not start a conflict the moment they met. If it were some other forces, they would have drawn their swords at each other the moment they met. However, there was no such situation here. They seemed very harmonious. It was thanks to the Star Origin Master's management that they were harmonious. Judging from all these circumstances, the Star Origin Lord was simply a wise ruler of his generation. At this moment, the Star Origin Master walked out of the palace. As soon as he walked out, the many star venerates bowed to him with cupped fists. Greetings, Star Origin Master. Okay. The Star Origin Master walked out with a smile. He looked very peaceful, without any signs of violence. On the surface, the Lord of Star Origin didn't look like a member of the Green Demon Clan. In fact, he looked no different from an ordinary cultivator. As one's cultivation got higher, it was not difficult for him to conceal his race. Star Origin Master, why did you summon us here? Is there something important? Star Venerate Prosperity walked out and asked about the situation on behalf of the Star Origin Master. Generally speaking, they wouldn't be summoned if it wasn't something important. After all, they were all Star Venerates and had many things to do. If it was not something important, they would be held up. It's not something important, but it's not a trivial matter either. The Star Origin Master sighed deeply. He looked worried. Recently, my disciple Ling Nan died in the burning desolate realm. What? Star Venerate Ling Nan died? They were shocked. Star Venerate Ling Nan's cultivation was not weak. How could he have died outside? Who killed Star Venerate Lingnan? That's right. There should not be any experts in the burning desolate realm. As long as Star Venerates did not show up, Star Venerate Lingnan should have been able to escape. Did he fall into some kind of plot? Star Origin Master, did you find out who killed him? They all stepped forward. Their gazes were ice-cold and filled with murderous intent. They were ready to take revenge at any time. From this, it could be seen that their relationship with Star-Lord Lingnan was not bad. I did find out, but it's a little tricky. He is the new Star Venerable of the burning desolate realm, the heavenly cloud Star Venerable. The Master of Star Origin sighed and said, "It's normal for Lingnan to be punished for offending him, but the price is too great. Heavenly Cloud, Star Venerable." They were taken aback for a moment. Then they all became filled with righteous indignation. They weren't even afraid of Star Venerables. It wasn't just the Master of Star Origin who was here. If they joined hands, they could even deal with a Star Venerable. Are you talking about the new Star Venerable? A declining region has a Star Venerable. I really don't know what kind of luck he had. I guess there must be smoke rising from his ancestral grave. Even a Star Venerable can come from that barbaric place. It's really strange. How did Star-Lord Lingnan offend him? Could it be that he killed his relative? Their anger was quickly directed towards Tianyun. No matter what the reason was, they were probably filled with displeasure towards Tianyun. There was no expert who didn't protect their own people. They wouldn't compromise no matter what. Actually, we didn't kill his relative. We just wanted Lingnan to befriend other factions and rope them in to join our faction. However, Heavenly Cloud Star Venerable was too overbearing. He thought we invaded his territory, so he killed Lingnan. The Master of Star Origin had a pained look on his face. What? Invaded his territory? This is really funny. Is he the Desolate Burning Lord? He isn't even the Desolate Burning Lord. How can he talk about his faction? That's right. He's so overbearing. Does he think he's invincible? He just became a Star Venerable not long ago, yet he's already so arrogant. Does he want to become the Desolate Burning Lord? It's not easy to become the Desolate Burning Lord. He can't become the Desolate Burning Lord just by being violent. Let's go over there now and kill him to take revenge for Star-Lord Lingnan. All of them wanted to rush over and kill Tianyun one by one. If they joined hands to deal with a Star Venerable, it wouldn't be a problem. There were many late-stage Star Venerables among them, and they believed that they could deal with a newly advanced Star Venerable without any problems if they joined hands. Forget it. Since we offended a Star Venerable, we can only say that it was Lingnan's fault. The Master of Star Origin waved his hand and sighed. I gathered you here to talk about this matter. I hope none of you will go to the desolate burning realm. If you aren't careful, you will be killed by Heavenly Cloud, Star Venerable, and we will suffer great losses. The Master of Star Origin leaned back in his chair with a pained look on his face. How can we let this go? Heavenly Cloud Star Venerable is nothing. Let's join hands and kill him. Master of Star Origin, why don't you come with us and flatten the desolate burning realm? That's right. It's time to let them know the power of our Star Origin field. They shouldn't think that our Star Origin field is easy to bully. That's right. Let's kill Heavenly Cloud, Star Venerable together and intimidate the desolate burning realm. They had never thought of occupying the desolate burning realm. That would be equivalent to declaring war against all the factions, and the price would be relatively high. However, with so many Star Venerables dealing with a single Star Venerable, the problem would be easily solved. How can we do that? Heavenly Cloud, Star Venerable, isn't weak. It will be quite troublesome to deal with him. If there are any casualties, it will be a great loss to our Star Origin field. The Master of Star Origin shook his head. He didn't agree with this proposal. However, the depths of his eyes were filled with pleasant surprise. It seemed like everything was under his control. What's so troublesome about it? If we cooperate with Master of Star Origin's power, Heavenly Cloud, Star Venerable will surely be suppressed. Compared to you, what is Heavenly Cloud Star Venerable? While you were shaking the world, he was probably still at an even lower cultivation level. It could be said that they held the Master of Star Origin in high regard and had full confidence in him. Fine. Since you all have said so, Let's capture him and bring him back. I will offer him to Ling Nan's soul in heaven." The Master of Star Origin didn't decline anymore. He agreed to their proposal. He stood up and said in a deep voice, "We want to capture him alive, not dead." Cough, 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 cough. The Master of Star Origin suddenly started coughing violently. Blood kept flowing from the corners of his mouth. "Master of Star Origin, I'm fine. I've been cultivating too much recently, which has caused my aura to be somewhat chaotic. My disciple's death has also caused this situation. I'll be fine after some rest." The Master of Star Origin waved his hand. "Master of Star Origin, it seems like you won't be able to make a move. Let's go and capture him ourselves." When they saw the Master of Star Origin's condition, they could only choose to stop him from making a move. "Then I'll have to trouble you." The Master of Star Origin waved his hand, looking ashamed. However, there was a ruthless glint in the depths of his eyes. Everything was going according to plan. Chapter 2036. As a matter of fact, I found it disgusting and disgusting. A star venerable unexpectedly said such disgusting things. He seemed righteous, and his aura was chaotic. Actually, he didn't dare go to the burning, desolate realm. The person who had appeared was obviously Tianyan. He had happened to come here and overheard their conversation. When he heard the Master of Star Origin say he wouldn't go, he realized that this guy had said so much just to pave the way for this. The Master of Star Origin didn't dare go to the burning, desolate realm because he was afraid of the Master of the Five Elements Mountain. Even though he had broken through to the Star Venerable realm, he still felt terrified. Tianyan had seen through the Master of Star Origin's real intention. The Master of Star Origin didn't feel embarrassed. Instead, he looked at Tianyan in pleasant surprise. "I didn't expect you to dare come here." The Master of Star Origin was overjoyed. He had thought he would have to go to the burning, desolate realm to capture Tianyan. He hadn't expected Tianyan to come here so boldly, and he was pleasantly surprised. His plan had been seen through, but he didn't care. He just wanted Tianyan to come here. "Are you Heavenly Cloud, Star Venerable?" The Star Lords quickly surrounded him to prevent Tianyan from escaping. Tianyan didn't move and let them surround him. Since he had come here alone, he wasn't afraid of being surrounded by these Star Lords. "That's right. I'm Heavenly Cloud, Star Venerable. You are unexpectedly ruled by a green demon. It's really ridiculous. No matter how the green demons change, he is still a green demon. Such an alien will only put you in danger." Tianyan sneered. This time, he used a small trick to make you work for him. "Cultivation problems? That's bullsh asterisk T. Everything is just an act. How could there be a problem? His aura is very stable. He can even fight 300 rounds without any pressure, let alone fight." Green demon race? They looked at Tianyan in confusion, as if they hadn't expected him to say such a thing. What a joke. How could I be a member of the Green Demon clan? The Master of Star Origin laughed heartily as he sat on his chair, a calm expression on his face. He didn't care about Tianyan's words at all. "That's right, don't spout nonsense. How could the Master of Star Origin be a member of the Green Demon race? Not only did you kill Star Sovereign Ling Nan, but you also slandered the Master of Star Origin as a member of the Green Demon clan. You are the most disgusting. You slandered others casually. I didn't expect you to be such a Star Venerable. You don't deserve respect at all." They glared angrily at Tianyan. Slandering others made them even angrier. Putting aside whether or not you're a Green Demon clan member, your disciple is a Green Demon clan member. Tianyan extended his hand, and a recording roulette appeared in his hand. Soon, the image of Star Lord Ling Nan appeared before everyone's eyes. In general, it showed Tianyan peeping from the side, while Star Lord Ling Nan wore a cloak and threatened the Tianfan ancestral land. After a short while, Tianyan appeared. He took off the cloak and revealed their faces. Star Lord Ling Nan. They recognized him immediately. Even though his clothes were green, they still recognized him easily. After all, his face hadn't changed. Tianyan was used to recording such things. He didn't know when he could use them. This was why he recorded them casually. He didn't want to miss any information. Now he could use them. He could let them see Star-Lord Ling Nan's face. According to Yi Tianyun's conjecture, the Green Demon Clan members would immediately reveal themselves after coming to the burning desolate realm. They wouldn't be able to conceal themselves even if they wanted to. It was probably the five elements mountain's influence. Otherwise, how could they conceal themselves so well here? That's right. This is your Star-Lord Ling Nan. He's a member of the Green Demon Clan. As Master's Master, do you think he doesn't know that Star-Lord Ling Nan is a member of the Green Demon Clan? Yi Tianyun looked at the Master of Star Origin. All the Star Venerates present hated the Green Demon Clan. The Green Demon Clan had wreaked havoc in a large area, including the Star Origin Zone. However, the situation wasn't that serious. The burning, desolate realm dominated. Regardless of whether they wreaked havoc or not, the Green Demon Clan was notorious. No one liked the Green Demon Clan. At this moment, all the Star Venerates looked at the Master of Star Origin. Their hearts actually started to waver. If the Master of Star Origin was really a member of the Green Demon Clan, then they wouldn't listen to his orders. The Green Demon Clan was naturally cunning and extremely xenophobic. They always used other races. As for treating them sincerely, that was like a fart. Facing so many sharp gazes, the Master of Star Origin had a calm expression. He looked at Yi Tianyun and applauded. He smiled and said, "What a good plan. You prepared so many deceptive scenes. Are you trying to sow discord between us? Scenes can be faked. Do you think that he came here without any preparations?" The Master of Star Origin leaned forward and clasped his hands together. He looked at Yi Tianyun and smiled. "Star Venerate Heavenly Cloud, what a good plan. To think that you could come up with such a sinister plan." "That's right. The record roulette can be faked. How could Star Venerate Ling Nan be a member of the Green Demon Clan? We've been in contact with him for so long, but we haven't sensed any aura of the Green Demon Clan." "That's right. Do you think we're stupid? We've all sensed the aura of the Green Demon Clan. How could we be wrong? Star Venerate Heavenly Cloud, you really came here to sow discord. First, you said that the Master of Star Origin was a member of the Green Demon Clan. Now, you say that Star Venerate Ling Nan is a member of the Green Demon Clan. What are you trying to do?" They glared at Yi Tianyun, the anger in their hearts increasing. "That's right. Didn't you say that I'm a member of the Green Demon Clan? Come and check if I'm a member of the Green Demon Clan." The Master of Star Origin stretched out his hand and gestured for the other Star Venerates to come and check. "If you really are a member of the Green Demon Clan, you should be able to easily find out." The other Star Venerates looked at each other, but still shook their heads. "We believe that the Master of Star Origin is definitely not a member of the Green Demon Clan. The Green Demon Clan is not that kind. They refused to check because they still trusted the Master of Star Origin in their hearts." No. Come and check. Only after you check can you prove everything." The Master of Star Origin gestured for them to come and check. In the end, Star Venerate Flourishing still came to check. He reached out and grabbed the Master of Star Origin's arm. After checking, he shook his head. "I don't sense any aura of the Green Demon Clan." Immediately, another Star Venerate went to check, but he still couldn't find any aura. "There's no aura of the Green Demon Clan at all. You really are slandering me." They all glared at Yi Tianyun. This time, they were sure that Yi Tianyun was lying. No wonder he's sitting here so calmly. It turns out that his body has been modified. It's really difficult to detect him using ordinary methods. Yi Tianyun shook his head. Just now, he had carefully checked with the appraisal eye and could indeed identify that he was a member of the Green Demon Clan. However, it would take some time for him to investigate clearly. This was because the true core of the Green Demon Clan had already been hidden in his soul. As long as he didn't delve deep into his soul, it was impossible to find out. This was the confidence of the Master of Star Origin. Chapter 2037. The Master of Stellar Origin had been so calm, but it turned out that he had come prepared. He had arranged everything so perfectly that it would be difficult to see through him. Needless to say, the Master of Star Origin was truly treacherous. Yi Tianyun had intended to take advantage of the situation, But who would have expected that the Master of Star Origin would turn the tables on him? From the looks of things, Etionyun probably failed to turn the other star venerates around. So many celestial venerables had checked the Master of Star Essence's body, but they hadn't felt the aura of the green demon race. This made them think that the Master of Star Essence couldn't possibly be from the green demon race. Without a doubt, this was a heavy blow to Etionyun. Not only did it not help them turn the tables, but it also enraged them. Probing the body of a cultivator was actually a rather rude thing to do. Generally speaking, no one would do it casually. Probing someone else's body was tantamount to invading their privacy. They absolutely could not allow others to touch them. The Master of Star Origin was very generous. He allowed them to investigate him so that he could prove his identity. What else do you have to explain? Star Venerable Heavenly Cloud. If you give me a proper explanation, you won't be able to walk out of here. The many star venerates surrounded Xiao Chun and sealed off this place tightly. All of them burst out their dermic incarnations, all of them grade 5 dermic incarnations of high quality, surrounded by 10-odd star venerates. Many of them strong star venerates. The pressure was immense. However, Etionyun acted as if he didn't see it. He stared at the Master of Star Origin and said with a calm expression, "Looks like you've been prepared for a long time. Perhaps you've already expected this day to come? I don't understand what you're talking about. I am the Master of Star Origin, not the Green Devil race. Star Venerate Heavenly Cloud. Even if you want to deal with me, you don't have to use such despicable methods, right? If you want to come, just come. Why go through so much trouble?" The Master of Star Origin stood up and said fiercely, "Even if my body can't take it anymore, I will suppress you here today." The Master of Star Origin's aura surged, and the Star Dharma idol behind him emerged. It was the Wisdom Monarch of Wind. The Acolytes of Wind was at the 6th level, and it was a top-notch starry aspect. The Acolytes of Wind had nothing to do with the Green Demon race's star aspect, so it could serve as a great cover. Wisdom King of Wind. Etionyun's eyes narrowed. He had thought that the Master of Star Origin wouldn't dare to release his Dharma idol. The Dharma idol that the Green Devil clan worshipped was usually related to the Green Devil clan. Only then could the Master of Star Origin unleash his full power. He didn't expect that the Dharma idol he was using wasn't related to the Green Devil clan. This surprised him. Could it be that the Master of Star Origin had a dual star aspect? Generally speaking, this was not very possible. At least according to the current records, there was no such thing as a dual star Dharma idol. No matter who it was, there would only be one type of star Dharma idol. The star Dharma idol could evolve and improve, but it was impossible for it to have two. However, Etionyun was an exception. The star Dharma idol that he had obtained could be considered an item for use. I don't know why you're the Wisdom King of Wind star form, but you're a green demon at your core. I'm not wrong, Etionyun said calmly. You're at death's door, yet you still slander me. You're really obstinate. It seems like newly advanced star venerables are quite arrogant. What you said isn't wrong. The Master of Star Origin said calmly, "Capture him alive. You must capture him alive. If you kill him so easily, it will be too easy for him." That's right, capture him alive. Many Star Lords snorted coldly. They had set up an inescapable net here, and there was no way for him to escape. The strong blockade ensured that even the teleportation Divine Stone wouldn't work on Etionyun, and he wouldn't be able to escape easily even if he wanted to. "It seems like you're quite confident in your disguise," Etionyun said with a faint smile. "If that's the case, then you're too naive." After he spoke, he quickly took out 2 items. One was the essence of the 5-color Divine Stone, while the other was the 5-color Divine Blood. Both of them were treasures of the 5-color Divine clan. However, the 5-color Divine Blood's effect on him was already negligible. It was the blood of a star venerable, and he was already a star venerable. So, what effect could he hope for? However, it wouldn't be a problem if it could strengthen his attributes. However, he didn't take it out for himself. Instead, he wanted to use it to force the other party to reveal itself. These 2 items. How could the Master of Star Origin not know what they were? They were the treasures of his archenemy. Eteonyun grinned and dripped the five-color divine blood on the five-color divine stone. Then, the five-color divine stone immediately released dazzling rays of light that spread out in rings. With the support of the five-color divine blood, the effects were amplified by several times. If one absorbed it, the effects would surely be quite shocking. This was the true way to use it. However, Eteonyun didn't use it for himself. Instead, after he released it, rings of light poured into the Master of Star Origin's body. The Master of Star Origin couldn't block it, even if he wanted to. Ah, 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 scoundrel, scram. The Master of Star Origin shouted. He wanted to block the energy, but it was useless. The five-colored light seeped into his body and spread out. The mini-star Venerates originally wanted to make a move. However, when they saw the Master of Star Origin situation, they were stunned. If it were a simple attack, they would definitely help. However, they immediately saw the Master of Star Origin's skin turn green. Long, sharp horns started to appear on his head. It seemed like he was changing. You have nowhere to hide before this energy. Eteonyun sneered. Since he dared to come here, did he not come prepared? Die! The Master of Star Origin roared. The power of the bright wind monarch erupted, sweeping up a hurricane as it rushed towards Eteonyun. He wanted to kill Eteonyun before he fully recovered his true body. As long as he killed Eteonyun and destroyed the five-color divine stone, everything would be fine. Eteonyun laughed loudly. Don't you want to recover your true body? That's impossible. Let them see your ugly face. Eteonyun quickly dodged to the side. Although he was slower than the Master of Star Origin, he had no problem dodging the attack. Boom! The horrifying attack missed. Eteonyun hid far away. He continued to release energy from the five-color divine stone, forcing the Master of Star Origin to recover his true body. The other star Venerates dodged to the side. They were all dumbfounded. Most of them had wanted to rescue Eteonyun immediately. However, the speed at which the Master of Star Origin recovered his true body was much faster than them. In the blink of an eye, he recovered part of his true body. Everyone could tell that the Master of Star Origin was a member of the Green Demon race. Chapter 2038. Soon, the Starry Origin Master recovered his true form, exposing the Green Demon race. He could no longer hide his identity. This five-color divine stone was like a demon revealing mirror, revealing the Starry Origin Master's true form. How are you going to quibble this time? Are you going to say that I turned you into a green demon? Eteonyun held the five-color divine stone as he hid at the side with a mocking expression. What did it mean to take the initiative? This was what it meant to take the initiative. Given the Starry Origin Master's strength, he could crush a group of star Venerates. If he killed them, he could obtain a large amount of star energy. However, the Starry Origin Master was unwilling to do so. He knew that these star Venerates were being used and deceived. If the Starry Origin Master helped them out of their deceit, they would definitely be grateful to him after the matter was over. It would be equivalent to them owing him a favor. At that time, he would be able to use so many factions. This was what the Starry Origin Master wanted the most. It would be easy to kill them, but their factions would no longer be under his control. This would undoubtedly be a great loss. The most important thing was that they did not have any grudges with Eteonyun. Otherwise, they would have started killing without saying a word. Now it was different. All the spearheads turned to the Starry Origin Master. Starry Origin Master, I did not expect you to be a green demon. You deceived us for so many years. That's right. I nearly believed that you were not a green demon. Unexpectedly, you did so well all these years. It was all a scam. Wait, maybe the Starry Origin Master has changed. Although he is a green demon, his mentality has improved. He is no longer a selfish green demon. Some people cursed the Starry Origin Master, but some chose to stand on his side. All these years, the Starry Origin Master's actions spoke for themselves. The Starry Origin Master had contributed many things to this region. No matter what his identity was, at the very least, he had provided help to many factions. This was something that could not be refuted. For a moment, These people actually hesitated, feeling conflicted in their hearts. In their opinion, perhaps the Starry Origin Master had truly changed. Not to mention the other green demons. Perhaps the Starry Origin Master was different from the other green demons and had truly changed. His mentality has changed for the better, become less selfish, and not take advantage of you. Etianyan smiled and looked at them with pity. You are too naive. He wants to use you to attack the realm of burning desolation and remove the 5 elements mountain that suppresses the green demon clan. He doesn't dare to go there himself, so he can only rely on you guys to go there. Isn't that just using you guys? Previously, you said that you had a problem with your cultivation and that it would be inappropriate for you to go and deal with me personally. But now, you look like a lively dragon and a lively tiger, yet you still say that you can't move. What a joke. Etianyan couldn't help but shake his head when he saw how stubborn they were. It was undeniable that some prodigal sons would turn over a new leaf. At the very least, this was not the case for the Lord of Stellar Origin. He had no intention of treating this place as his home. Instead, he wanted to make full use of it. Boom! The Lord of Starrescence attack surged forth once more. This time, it collided with Etianyan's attack and sent Etianyan flying backwards. Thankfully, he managed to defend himself in time and didn't receive any damage. Etianyan bounced away from the side and continued to spit. Oh, you're still trying to stop me from speaking? Your words don't make any sense. I am sincerely working for this region and sincerely want to change the image of the Green Demon Clan in the hearts of many cultivators. But you are here to destroy it. I, the Lord of Starrescence, have done so many things for this region. How could I possibly use them? The Lord of Starrescence attacked again and again, but every time he attacked, Etianyan was able to dodge or resist. Although he didn't use his full strength, he still used most of it. However, Etianyan was able to easily resist his attacks, which surprised the Lord of Starrescence. However, the Lord of Starrescence did not strengthen his attacks. Instead, he held back for fear that he would kill Etianyan. The Star Lords exchanged glances. They couldn't possibly believe the words of an outsider, could they? That's right. The Lord of Starrescence has been sincerely working for this faction all these years. He has definitely changed. Don't listen to this guy's lies. Help the Lord of Starrescence. Take him down. Damn it. The Lord of Starrescence has always been so good to us. How could he possibly just want to use us? They had always believed that Etianyan's words had made them choose to believe the Lord of Starrescence. They believed that the Green Demon Clan would always have a good future, and the Lord of Starrescence was one of them. Soon, their attacks surrounded Etianyan again, their auras all aimed at him. The tables turned again, and the Lord of Starrescence once again gained the upper hand. Etianyan's eyes darkened. It seemed that his actions had failed to provoke them. He had been so good to them all this time that he had completely brainwashed them. However, he was more concerned about the Lord of Starrescence's actions. He keeps trying to capture me alive. What's going on? Etianyan still couldn't figure this out. Logically speaking, his actions should have infuriated the Lord of Starrescence. The Lord of Starrescence would have attacked him with all his might. However, the Lord of Starrescence hadn't done so. Instead, he had suppressed his strength to avoid harming Luo Yunyang. This was what puzzled Luo Yunyang the most. Why did the Lord of Starrescence want to capture him alive? Could it be that the Lord of Starrescence wanted to force something out of him? After thinking about it, Luo Yunyang decided not to think too much about it. After suppressing the Lord of Starrescence, he would know what the Lord of Starrescence wanted to do. It seems that you are still stubborn and naive. In that case, I will shatter your naivety. Etianyan's figure flashed, and the 6-colored Emperor Dragon image behind him erupted. The image of a king enveloped the entire area. The might of the unique Star Dharma aspect shocked all the Star Venerates. When they saw that it was a unique Star Dharma aspect, they were shocked. They had never seen a unique Star Dharma aspect before. It's a unique Star Dharma aspect. Furthermore, it's very special. They were all stunned. However, what shocked them the most was Etianyan's speed. In the blink of an eye, Luo Yunyang arrived in front of one of the Star Venerates and restrained him. The star Venerate thought that he was dead for sure. Just as he was about to roar angrily, Etion grabbed him by the chest and sent a wave of power into him. In the next second, Etion pulled him out. Soon after, a black flower appeared before everyone's eyes. Your Lord of Star Essence really treats you well. This is a flower of darkness. Furthermore, it's a high-grade flower of darkness. It can already control your movements. Etion flicked the flower of darkness in his hand. Others might not be able to see it, but he could easily see it with his appraisal eye. Chapter 2039. The Flower of Darkness was a very terrifying creature. In its early stages, it constantly absorbed vitality and souls. However, after being modified, it could hide in the body and slowly control the entire body. At that time, even if the soul was awake, the body would already be under its control. It would be impossible for the soul to escape. In particular, the Flower of Darkness could slowly hide in the body. As long as it did not erupt, it was almost impossible to detect it. Otherwise, it would not be called the Flower of Darkness. It was a flower that hid in the dark. If one was not careful, it would take a big bite and swallow the host. Now, many star venerates had the Flower of Darkness in their bodies, but they were completely unaware of it. This showed how terrifying the Flower of Darkness was. With the Star Origin Master's help, everything was done without anyone noticing. When necessary, he could use it to control them. The Flower of Darkness, when they saw the Flower of Darkness, their expressions immediately changed. Who didn't know how terrifying this thing was? It could be said that even star venerates would find it difficult to deal with the Flower of Darkness. If they were not careful, their bodies would be occupied. Now, they had not expected that the Flower of Darkness had already been planted deep in their bodies. Star Origin Master, I didn't expect you to plant the Flower of Darkness in our bodies. They roared angrily. The remaining trust in their hearts was immediately hollowed out and replaced with anger. At this time, no one believed the Star Origin Master. Aside from the Star Origin Master, no one could plant the Flower of Darkness in their bodies without anyone noticing. The Star Origin Master did not explain. Instead, he formed hand seals. Immediately, the Flower of Darkness in the Star Venerates' bodies bloomed and emerged from their chests. A black flower appeared and covered their upper bodies. Under such circumstances, they were immediately controlled and lost control of their bodies. I really didn't expect you to be able to see through the Flower of Darkness I planted. It seems that I underestimated you. The Star Origin Master stared coldly at Etion. But this is also good. You are worth dealing with. The Star Origin Master formed hand seals. Aside from a star venerate whose Flower of Darkness had been plucked by Etion, the rest were under his control. The free star venerate quickly stood beside Etion and said guiltily, "Star venerate Heavenly Cloud, I'm here to help you. What do you need my help with?" He was incomparably furious. Seeing that his former ally had been controlled, he must have been even more furious. All he wanted to do right now was to join forces with Etion and get rid of the Master of Star Origin. In the blink of an eye, they had become allies. If the other star venerates had not been controlled, they would have fallen out with the Master of Astral Origin. There's no need. They are just minor characters. Etion laughed loudly. As he faced the encirclement, his figure flashed, and he turned into a six-colored Emperor Dragon. Then he opened his huge maw and sucked, forcefully pulling out the dark flowers in the 10-odd star venerates' bodies. Because they had already bloomed, it was quite difficult to pull them out. It would take some time to pull out the flowers of darkness. Dream on. The Master of Astral Origin was both furious and startled. He had not expected Etion to have such an ability to pull out so many dark flowers. If this continued, how was he going to control these star venerates? He had spent so much effort to plant so many dark flowers, yet they were pulled out just like that. Immediately, the bright wind sovereign behind the Master of Astral Origin sent out countless wind blades, each of which could cleave the ground into a valley. Then, the wind blades frantically flew over. This time, the Master of Astral Origin was truly enraged. Even if he had to beat Tianyin half to death, he would stop him. The Master of Astral Origin could not afford to waste so many outstanding subordinates. The Master of Astral Origin was very strong, but he needed subordinates to control many things, especially when there were so many factions. If he lost so many star venerates, how was he going to destroy the five-element mountain? You're finally getting serious. However, that is all there is to it. Tianyin guffawed. However, he had no intention of dodging. If he dodged, he would fail to pull out the dark flowers. He wanted to pull out all the dark flowers in one go and save all the star venerates. Get down here. When the Master of Astral Origin saw that Tianyin did not dodge, the corners of his mouth curled into a sneer. If he was hit head-on by his attack, even if he did not die, he would be crippled, especially when there were so many wind blades attacking fiercely. Every blade would cut into his flesh. Boom, boom, boom. Countless wind blades bombarded Tianyun's huge body. Such a huge body was like a huge target, and it was hard not to hit it. Heavenly Cloud, Star Venerate. All the Star Venerates widened their eyes and felt a chill in their hearts. They could not control their bodies, but they were still conscious. They knew that they were being controlled, and they could also see that Tianyin was helping them. But now, Tianyin was being attacked head-on for their sake. Presumably, the situation was very bad. Even if I have to risk my life, I will save Heavenly Cloud, Star Venerate. Dragon Peak Star Venerate, who had just been saved by Tianyin, stared at the exploding body, ready to risk his life at any time. He might not be able to help deal with the Master of Astral Origin, but he could help Tianyin escape. However, after the explosion, Tianyin did not fall to the ground. Instead, he stood steadily in the void. His huge body had only suffered minor injuries, which were almost negligible. At that moment, they saw a thick layer of light covering Tianyun's body, which seemed to have neutralized most of the attack. War God's Fury. Tianyin had already put on the Starlight War God armor and activated the War God's Fury. For a short time, not only did his strength increase by 30 times, but his body could also withstand damage. At the same time, this battle armor could also increase his defensive power, so that he had enough defense to withstand the attack. He's fine. The Master of Astral Origin was shocked. He had not expected that Tianyin would be able to withstand his attack. Most importantly, he had not suffered any injuries. Come out! Tianyin bellowed and stepped forward. The War God's fury erupted, and his strength increased significantly. The ground shook violently. At the same time, a large portion of the dark flower, which was being pulled out bit by bit, was pulled out. However, a large portion of the dark flower's roots were still connected to their chests. Roar! Immediately, he spewed out primal chaos flames, which engulfed the many dark flower roots and burned them rapidly. Following that, the dark flower let out a mournful wail before it was devoured by the primal chaos flames and turned into a pile of ashes. After the dark flower was removed, the many-star venerates collapsed to the ground. However, this was not a big deal. With Tianyun's perfect elimination, he could easily deal with the dark flower. Chapter 2040. We can control it now. After the dark flowers were removed, the many-star venerates immediately regained control of themselves. They quickly bounced up and gathered around Tianyin. They basically used Tianyin as the center to face the Astral Origin Master. So many reversals happened in such a short time. Most people would not be able to endure it. This was simply too crazy. It could be said to be a series of reversals. Initially, they had targeted Tianyin. Then, they turned to the Astral Origin Master. Now, the situation was set in stone. The Astral Origin Master had become the enemy of all the Star Venerates. The Star Origin Lord didn't expect that Tianyin would be able to deal with all the dark flowers so quickly. In his opinion, even if Tianyin could remove all the dark flowers in one go, it would take him a long time. During that time, the Astral Origin Master would have attacked the dark flowers countless times. Perhaps the dark flowers would have already turned into meat paste. This was especially so when the Astral Origin Master interrupted Etienne's removal of the dark flowers. The dark flowers would return to their original state. Even if Etienne removed the dark flowers again, he would have to start all over again. It would be extremely difficult. Who knew? Everything exceeded his expectations. Not only could Xiao Chan block his attacks, but he could also quickly remove the dark flowers. It was simply inconceivable that Xiao Chan could do both so easily. This meant that the Astral Origin Master's painstaking efforts would all go to waste. This made him feel heartache and rage. "I will kill you." This time, the Astral Origin Master was truly enraged. He instantly burst out with all his power. The Wisdom Deity of Wind's power reached its peak. A huge Wisdom Deity of Wind soared into the air and brandished the 6 arms on its back. Then, it moved its fingers, stirring up a storm. 20 cubes of astral power appeared above the Astral Origin Master. It was extremely strong. This was not over yet. The Astral Origin Master's green demonic race bloodline unleashed its full power. Green scales appeared all over his body, sucking in the surrounding life force and pouring it into his body. Unrivaled power and unrivaled recovery speed. This was simply the combat prowess that all cultivators dreamed of. Not only did the Astral Origin Master possess great strength, but he also had a strong life force that could pour out endlessly. Even if he was injured, he could recover quickly and fight a protracted battle. Even if he couldn't suppress the other party with his strength, he could exhaust the other party to death. As he unleashed his full power, his strength rose steadily, bringing him to a whole new state. Compared to the strength he used to deal with Etienne, it was much stronger. If there was a multiplier, it was at least 10 times more effective. This was the true power of the Lord of Astral Essence. Previously, he had only been messing around. His main goal was to capture Etienne alive. But it was different now. He truly wanted to suppress Etienne with his most ferocious power. As long as he was still breathing, it would be fine, not completely unscathed. Such a strong force immediately put incredible pressure on all the Star Venerates. The Star Origin Master's power almost suffocated them. They had naively assumed that they could deal with a Star Venerable if they gathered their power. Now it seemed that he had been too naive. How could he deal with a Star Venerable, especially a Star Venerable in the middle stage? Perhaps in the early stages, he could still deal with it. Heavenly Cloud Star Venerable, we have come to help you. They didn't cower. The anger in their hearts had already defeated their fear, and it erupted. It turned into a giant square formation that sealed the Star Origin Master. They wanted to seal him to death. This power, which had been used to deal with Etienne, was now used to deal with the Star Origin Master. The powerful sealing power closed in on him from all directions, and the Star Origin Master couldn't escape or hide. The sealing power instantly sealed the Star Origin Master. It was as if he was encased in many layers of a cage, and it was difficult to break it. Such a firm cage could indeed seal a Star Venerable. Get lost! The Lord of Star Essence bellowed as a terrifying power erupted from within his body, shattering the cage that had trapped him. The horrifying energy rebounded on the many Star Venerates, sending them flying and crashing through the palace. At the same time, they suffered significant injuries. I taught you this, yet you still use it to deal with me. You are really too naive. The Star Origin Master's eyes were bloodshot. He said angrily, I paid a great price to support you, yet you are just a group of ingrates. Why can't you just let yourself be used? Why are you still trying to resist me? Without me, could you have reached your current accomplishments? Since this is the case, I will kill you all, you bunch of trash. The Star Origin Master was really infuriated, and he charged at the Star Venerates at the side. He wanted to kill all of them first before dealing with Etienne. After all, these Star Venerates had a great fighting prowess. This time, they had used the move taught by the Star Origin Master to deal with him. This was why they had managed to defeat him so easily. If they gathered together and used other moves next time, even though the effects would be mediocre, they would still inflict some injuries on him. This was why the Star Origin Master planned to kill these star venerates first before dealing with Etion. Unless Etion turned around and fled, the Star Origin Master would deal with the other star venerates first. It's over. When the star venerates saw the Star Origin Master flying over, their faces turned pale. For a moment, they had forgotten to use the move taught by the Star Origin Master. Just as they were about to despair, a figure appeared in front of the Star Origin Master and stomped heavily on him. Dong! The berserk stomp sent the Star Origin Master flying. He tumbled in the air several times before coming to a stop. However, by the time he came to a stop, he was already hundreds of kilometers away. Have you forgotten that I'm here? Etienne's figure appeared in everyone's line of sight. The huge figure of the six-color Emperor Dragon couldn't be ignored. However, the Star Origin Master wanted to kill the other star venerates first before dealing with Etienne. In that case, I'll start with you. The Star Origin Master was furious. Originally, he did not want to rush to suppress Etienne. However, now that Etienne had delivered himself to him, he naturally would not stand on ceremony. You want to start with me with just this bit of strength? How naive. Compared to Star Venerate Deity Jade, you are not much stronger. Etienne laughed loudly. He opened his huge mouth and ruthlessly swallowed 5 cubic meters of the Star Origin Master's stellar power. The increase in his cultivation base and level had greatly increased his devouring power. In one breath, he had forcefully devoured 5 cubic meters of the Star Origin Master's stellar power. This meant that he had directly weakened the other party's strength by 15 times. How could he not feel satisfied? After devouring, Etienne's stellar power immediately increased to 25 cubic meters. Of course, this was not the end. The Starlight Deity's phantom appeared behind Etienne again. Under the Starlight Deity's special effect, his stellar power increased by another 3 cubic meters, reaching 28 cubic meters. This was definitely a new record. But was it over just like that? Of course not. Etienne opened his huge mouth at the other star venerates and swallowed them again. Let me borrow your stellar power. Chapter 2041. Etienne opened his mouth and swallowed the star power of 2 star monarchs in a row. His Star Dharma idol had reached the 3rd level, which meant he could devour the star power of 3 star lords. As they swallowed, the 2 star venerates lost all their astral energy. However, Etienne only gained 2 cubic meters of star power, which was already the limit. The star power of a Star Lord and a Star Venerable were 2 completely different concepts. It was even more difficult to increase the star power of a higher level. After devouring them, he could increase his star power to 30 cubic meters. 30 cubic meters of star power was equivalent to increasing his fighting prowess dozens of times. It was absolutely shocking. 30 cubic meters of star power. Everyone felt a chill in their hearts when they saw this. They hadn't expected that Etienne could increase his power to such a level. It was far beyond their imagination. The Master of Star Origin was scared out of his wits. He had thought that Etienne only had an advantage in the burning desolate realm. He had thought that Etienne was just a greenhorn in front of him. Now it seemed that he had been too naive. The truly powerful one wasn't him, but Etienne, God of War's fury. Etienne released the Starlight God of War's power once again. He instantly turned into a God of War's Emperor Dragon. Most importantly, his whole body emitted a dazzling light attribute power. He seemed to have turned into a sharp arrow that pierced toward the Master of Star Origin. A giant light dragon head whizzed out like a giant star. Chaos Fury Dragon. Etienne shouted angrily and released his strongest killing move. This time, the dragon head turned into a giant attack that engulfed the Master of Star Origin. When a Master of Star Origin's attack came into contact with Etienne's attack, it melted and turned into light spots. It didn't have any destructive power. Under the effect of the God of War's fury, the enemy's damage was greatly reduced. The most important thing was the 30 cubic meters of star power which increased his fighting prowess by nearly 70 times. It was unknown how much more powerful he was than the Master of Star Origin. Even if the Master of Star Origin was a star venerable at the intermediate stage, it didn't matter. The 30 cubic meters of star power was enough to terrify him. The Star Origin Master was very powerful, but he was only slightly stronger than Star Venerate Jade Divinity. Even Star Venerable Jade Deity had been suppressed by him, let alone a mere master of the Star Origin. Etion had absolute power, which was why he had come here alone. Whatever schemes and plots, he would just crush them all. Break! The Lord of Star Essence roared as he fought with Etion. However, the hurricane that his wisdom monarch of wind stirred up was no different from a cool breeze in front of Etion. It had no effect at all. Boom! The terrifying dragon claw trampled the Lord of Star Origin and crushed him to the ground. The wisdom deity of wind dissipated, and the wisdom deity of wind's Dharma idol in the star domain dimmed. Everything was easily suppressed by a single move. After the explosion subsided, a massive footprint appeared on the ground. In the center of the footprint lay the Lord of Star Origin. Due to his bloodline, his powerful recovery ability allowed him to survive. However, only his head was left, so he barely survived. If it weren't for his powerful recovery ability, not even his head would have been left. However, he wasn't dead, which was no different from being dead. Etion returned to his original body and landed next to the Lord of Star Origin. He exclaimed in surprise, "You didn't die even after all that? It seems you're quite tenacious. However, it just so happens that I can search your soul and see what you're thinking." If he searched the Lord of Star Origin's memories while he was weak, he would be able to obtain many of them. Then, he grabbed the Lord of Star Origin's head and started searching his soul. Before the soul search began, the Master of Star Origin stared at Lin Ming in horror. Who are you? How can you be so strong? I've never seen such a powerful move, such a powerful ability. You don't need to know that. Etion couldn't be bothered to explain. He started searching the Lord of Star Origin's soul and quickly found some basic information. As for the rest, he couldn't search the Lord of Star Origin's soul. No matter how strong a soul was, it would be turned into an idiot by him. No matter how strong a soul was, it was still just a soul, and it would collapse after a few soul searches. It was only because the Lord of Star Origin's soul was strong enough that he could search the Lord of Star Origin's soul several times and obtain more information. While he was searching the Lord of Star Origin's soul, the Lord of Star Origin got up and looked at him in horror. The Lord of Star Origin, who was so powerful, had been defeated so easily. Now, his soul was being searched. Such treatment was really terrifying. When the Lord of Star Origin recalled the cage technique they had used to trap Etion, he found himself too naive. Fortunately, Etion hadn't killed them. Otherwise, none of them would have been able to survive. They believed that they wouldn't be able to block that move and that they would surely be blasted to smithereens. What Lord of Star Origin? They were just ants before Etion. He's too strong. He's really too strong. Such a powerful star venerable actually appeared in the burning, desolate domain. It's unbelievable. Where did he come from? I remember that a unique star Dharma idol appeared a long time ago. Could it be him? How is it possible? That was just awakened. How could it be the heavenly cloud star venerable? I don't believe that he managed to become a star venerable in such a short time. They started discussing the matter, and their gazes became more respectful as they looked at Etion. They didn't plan to leave. After Etion finished searching the Lord of Star Origin's soul, he got lost in his thoughts. Surprise flickered in his eyes. I didn't expect that he would have such an ability. No wonder. Etion was surprised by the Lord of Star Origin's memories. The reason the Lord of Star Origin had spared his life was that he wanted to seize his unique Star Dharma idol. Star Dharma idols could be seized. Even though they had to pay a high price, it was still worth it for a high-grade Star Dharma idol. For example, the reason the Lord of Star Origin had a level 6 Star Dharma idol, the Bright Wind King, was because he had seized someone else's Star Dharma idol. Since he could only have one star Dharma idol, his previous one had been replaced and couldn't be recovered. Unless the Lord of Star Origin seized someone else's body and replaced it, he would have his current star Dharma idol. The reason the Lord of Star Origin had been able to hide here for so many years peacefully was that he had relied on other star Dharma idols to hide from others. Unfortunately, no matter how the star Dharma idol changed, it was still a green demon deep down. If he changed his body, Tianyun wouldn't be able to recognize him. Of course, no matter how he changed, his soul was still a green demon, unless he changed his soul. But if he changed his soul, would he still be himself? Chapter 2042. Tianyun found a lot of useful information from the Master of Star Origin's memories. Apart from knowing why he had been captured alive, there were other secrets as well. For example, what kind of role did the Master of Star Origin play here? After learning some of the information, Tianyun had a general understanding of the situation. At the very least, he was no longer completely clueless. So what's going on? The Green Demon race is really ambitious. After so many years, they still haven't gotten rid of their ambition to conquer this world. Tianyun shook his head, his eyes filled with murderous intent. Other people who occupied this area wouldn't do anything outrageous, such as enslaving everyone or killing non-humankind beings. For example, the Jade God's ancestral land would only suppress other forces or enslave a portion of them. As for the Green Demon race, it was completely different. If they could not enslave anyone, then they would kill them all. It was that simple. It was precisely this kind of outrageous behavior that caused many powerhouses to be disgusted and attack them. After all, swapping powerhouses was a common occurrence. For example, if it had been any other master, as long as they did not kill indiscriminately, they would not have cared. To put it bluntly, as long as they were treated well, they would not resist too much. The Green Demon race's xenophobic nature caused them to be completely ostracized. This was related to the Green Demon race's situation. They were similar to the evil spirit race in that they could increase their own strength by devouring others. Under such circumstances, apart from them, all other cultivators were equivalent to food, who would make friends with their own food. As a result, the resulting conflict would be magnified infinitely. After searching the Master of Star Origin's soul, Tianyun crushed the Master of Star Origin's head, causing it to turn into a bloody mist that dissipated. Ding! Successfully killed the Master of Star Origin. Obtained 120 million star energy points and 200 slaughter points. Obtained Acalanus of Wind Star Aspect, Level 6, Green Demon Race Bloodline, Rare, Green Demon Race Core. Ding! Successfully completed the main mission Destroy the Master of Star Origin. Obtained 50 million star energy points and one chance to evolve the system, accumulable. The main mission had been easily completed, and the rewards were equally generous. Especially when the system had a chance to evolve, it was actually a chance to level up. Now that he had accumulated 3 chances to level up, he could level up one of his skills by 3 levels in a row. This would undoubtedly save him a large amount of star energy, but it wouldn't be worth it to use it during the early stages of the game. Of course, this was not the key. The key was that it could be used to enhance Crazy Mode. If he wanted to upgrade Crazy Mode, he would need to evolve 3 times to upgrade it. Very good. Level up for me. Tianyun did not delay leveling up. Instead, he used it to level up. He would level up sooner or later anyway, so there was no need to delay it any longer. Ding! 3 system upgrades have been deducted, replaced with 1 upgrade to Crazy Mode upgrade. Ding! Successfully upgraded to Crazy Mode. All effects increased to 25 times. Can be used to increase the speed of alchemy, taking elixirs, carving star runes, forging, etc. 25 times. Originally, his effect was 12. 5 times. Now, it was equivalent to doubling, reaching 25 times. Come to think of it, it was not as powerful as the improvement of star power. If he used it to devour star power, his fighting prowess would definitely increase by several dozen times, far surpassing the effects of Crazy Mode. Of course, this was only for now. If he continued to upgrade it, the multiplier would definitely be astonishing. Moreover, in terms of practicality, crazy mode would have more effects. It could be used for alchemy and other things. It was simply an all-rounder. Ding! Successfully accepted the main mission, eradicate the Green Demon Clan's lair. Obtained 100 million star energy points, 2 chances to upgrade the system, accumulable, and a brand new equipment set. A brand new main mission appeared, and Onion squinted. As expected, it required him to eradicate the Green Demon Clan's lair. The previous mission was just an appetizer. He would first eradicate the green demons outside, and then he would start with the green demons inside. It seems like this is just the beginning. Tianyun's expression was grave. He had obtained more information about the Green Demon Clan's lair from the Master of Star Origin's memories. The Green Demon Clan's lair had many powerhouses. If the 5-element mountain had not suppressed them, a large number of powerhouses would have probably rushed out. There were many Star Lords, and many of them were Star Venerables. If they were released, it would really be a nightmare for this region. No one knew where the 5-element mountain's master had gone. Thus, once the green demons were released, the consequences would be quite terrifying. But now, such a difficult mission had been handed over to him. It would be much more difficult for him to personally deal with the Green Demon Clan's lair than to eradicate the Master of Star Origin. Because the Master of Star Origin had switched to another celestial Dharma idol, his true power had not been revealed yet. If he had been able to perfectly match his original celestial Dharma idol, Onion would have probably fallen into a bitter struggle. Lord Heavenly Cloud Star Venerable, many thanks for your help this time. If it weren't for you, we would have been eliminated long ago. We know that no matter how much we say, it will be meaningless, and we won't be able to make up for our previous rudeness towards you. Thus, we have decided to serve you as the new Master of Star Origin. We will listen to your orders. The dozen or so Star Lords circled around Onion, and their words were very tempting. In the twinkling of an eye, he had become the Master of Star Origin. Did it mean that he could control this place? Won't the others object to me becoming the Master of Star Origin? Onion said, looking at them with a smile. How could they object? The Master of Star Origin had a high prestige, but that was in the past. Now it's the green demons, the hated green demons. What they did in the past was just to make use of us. After we announce it, no one will object to you. That's right. With us in control, there won't be any mishaps. This is our compensation for what we have done. They had decided to support Onion, even if it was just to meet him. Do you trust me to manage you? Onion said with a smile. You didn't kill us. You even saved us. Your broad-mindedness is enough for you to become the Master of Star Origin. That's right. If it were other Star Venerables, they would have killed us out of anger. But you're different. You chose to explain things to us and free us from your control. Just because of this, our lives are yours. They were extremely grateful. As they thought about it carefully, they realized that Onion was so powerful that he could kill them easily. But Onion hadn't done that. Instead, he had saved them. Chapter 2043. Faced with the loyalty of so many Star Venerates, Onion rejoiced in his heart. This was his original intention. Why had he saved them time and again instead of killing them? It was all for the sake of this scene. If he wanted them to immediately pledge loyalty to him or have a favorable impression of him, he naturally had to save them. If not for this, he would not have bothered to save them. After saving them, he would definitely be able to control a faction here. However, he had not expected the results to exceed his expectations, allowing him to directly become the Star Origin Master. Becoming the Star Origin Master meant gaining complete control of this place. How could he not be happy? This was tantamount to taking the faction that the previous Star Origin Master had set up as his own. This was akin to benefiting others. It had to be said that the Dead Star Origin Master was truly pitiful. He had set up so many things, yet Onion had easily snatched them away. To achieve such an effect, not a single thing could have been missing. Not only did this require the Star Origin Master's arrangements, but it also required Etion to show mercy. Of course, it also required Etion's strength. Without great strength, even if they were saved, they would not serve Etion as the Star Origin Master. Good. Then I will become the Star Origin Master of this place. Since I just came into contact with this place, I'm not very familiar with it, so I will need you all to assist me. Etion smiled and said, however, compared to the previous Star Origin Master, I will be more generous. I will let you all know that serving me as the Star Origin Master will only make your future brighter. If he wanted to maintain his position, he would have to put in more effort than the previous Star Origin Master. At the very least, he would have to put in more effort to maintain his previous state. This was a combination of carrot and stick. Only this way could the faction become more stable. In that case, let us look forward to it. The many-star venerates smiled. Actually, they were also somewhat worried, not knowing whether Etion could manage this place well. However, now that things had come to this, they needed a Star Origin Master. Otherwise, this place would easily descend into chaos. Soon, the news that the previous Star Origin Master was from the Green Demon race spread, shocking all the cultivators in the Star Origin domain. No one had expected the Master of Star Origin, who had treated them so well, to be a member of the Green Devil race. At first, some people thought that it was a lie. However, with so many Star Venerates testifying, it was different. After carefully studying the martial arts provided by the Origin Star Lord, he discovered that this martial art was not a simple martial art, but a martial art of the Green Demon race. After learning it, it would be easier for him to control the Green Demon race. Under such circumstances, it was like a huge bomb had exploded beside many cultivators. This could be said to be earth-shattering news. The Master of Star Origin, who had always been revered by tens of thousands of people, had originally planned to use them. The one who developed this martial art was none other than Etion. Under his analysis, he completely dismantled the martial arts and then linked them to the martial arts of the Green Demon race. Then, he would know which martial arts had been modified. It had to be said that the Origin Star Lord was truly sinister. He planned to control everyone. He seemed to be kind, but he was actually vicious and merciless. With so much shocking information thrown at them, everyone's favorable impression of the Master of Star Origin immediately fell to the freezing point. Under such circumstances, Etion appeared out of nowhere and said that he would be the one to kill the Master of Star Origin. Only then would they know that the Master of Star Origin was a member of the Green Demon race. After a series of preparations, Etion became the Master of Star Origin very smoothly. A group of people even welcomed him to take the position. Different orders brought about different effects. If Etion was directly announced as the Master of Star Origin, there would definitely be a lot of resistance. However, things are different now. After tarnishing the reputation of the original Master of Star Origin, Etion took the position and helped to kill the Master of Star Origin. The effect was completely different. This was equivalent to saving them from disaster. There was almost no resistance. On the contrary, people welcomed Etion to take the position. Of course, this was just the beginning. After Etion took the position, he immediately started distributing all kinds of martial techniques. They were all-star sector-level martial techniques, and there were even more of them. There were as many as 3 of them. They were much more generous than what the Master of Star Origin had done. Etion had just taken the position, and he immediately started giving benefits. This was something that people would definitely welcome. Even if there had been some resistance, there was no resistance now. Etion had a lot of star sector-level martial techniques. He had killed many star venerates, and even several star venerates. He had found many treasures in their astral rings. Hence, it was very easy for him to casually take out a few martial techniques. As for the others, such as the selections, the rewards were increased by several times to stimulate more newcomers to join. It was very easy to stabilize a faction. One just had to give enough benefits. As long as one gave enough benefits, there would not be much resistance. After all, everything was based on benefits. If there was a conflict of interest, they would resist. If there was no conflict of interest and he gave them benefits, they would support it. Of course, the main reason was that the Master of Star Origin was a green demon. The influence he brought was too great. Hence, it was like everyone kicking a man when he was down. This made it very easy for Tianyin to take the position. If the Master of Star Origin had not caused any trouble, Tianyin would not have been able to get rid of the resistance easily. After all, loyalty was not something that could be dismissed with just some benefits. Next, Xiao Chun had to take control of all the information here and understand everything. I can't split myself up. I can't just keep staying here. It won't work if I let Shui Yun and the others manage it. Tianyin shook his head. It was impossible to let Shui Yun and the others manage it. The mini-star venerates would only acknowledge him. They would not approve of anyone else managing it. Therefore, it was unlikely that he would be able to leave for a long time. After all, this place could not be without a leader. Sometimes, one needed to stay for a while. Never mind. I'll check the spoils of war first. Tianyin checked the Master of Star Origin's astral ring. With his power, he could easily remove the imprint and check the contents of the astral ring. After casually looking through it, Xiao Chun opened his eyes wide and said, "Jade Soul Stone." He found the Jade Soul Stone in the Master of Star Origin's astral ring. He had only casually looked through it. He had not expected to find the Jade Soul Stone. I didn't expect to find the Jade Soul Stone here. This way, I can refine a clone. With the clone's control, won't I be able to easily manage this place? Chapter 2044. This is really a pleasant surprise. Tianyin started to refine a clone right away. He took out the energy nascent soul again. The small nascent soul floated above his palm, emitting a surging energy. This was a top-notch special treasure, which was equal to an extra life. How could it not be tempting? Then he took out the 9-cycle stargrass and the Jade Soul Stone right away and started to refine it. It was actually quite easy to refine it. He just needed to throw all of them into his body and refine them. He didn't need any forging techniques. He just needed to fuse them with his body. Then he threw all the materials into his inner world and started to refine them. After throwing the 3 materials into his body, the Jade Soul Stone and the 9-cycle stargrass started to flow into the energy nascent soul. After the fusion, the energy nascent soul started to melt. It turned into liquid energy and flowed into Tianyin's limbs. Everything felt like there was a warm current flowing through his body. Soon, the liquid flowed all over his body, including his soul. Then he felt a tearing pain in his soul. The tearing of the soul was not a good feeling. Tianyin turned pale. The tearing pain of the soul was quite unbearable. Especially when the soul was split in two, the pain was even more shocking. However, Tianyin didn't say anything, as if it wasn't his soul that was being torn. Soon, his soul was torn in two. At the same time, a gust of energy flowed out of his body and took shape quickly. Soon, a black-clothed Tianyin appeared next to him. Both his appearance and aura were exactly the same as Tianyin's. Even his cultivation was still in the early stage of the Star Venerable realm. The most monstrous thing about an energy nascent soul was that it could copy everything, including a powerful cultivation base. This meant that there would be another Star Venerable soon. How could Star Venerable Jade Divinity not take the risk? However, the tearing of the soul would take some time to recover. Anyway, it was a tearing of the soul. Although the two were still one, it was still a kind of injury. When he recovered, Tianyin would have a complete soul again. And it wasn't just one soul, but 2 complete souls. That was why it was said that he had an extra life, a full 2 lives. Is that enough? Tianyin took a deep breath and looked at himself beside him with a smile. At the same time, the other party smiled. Everything was under his control. I have the power of 2 Star Venerables. As long as there isn't a super expert, can anyone obstruct me? Tianyin looked at his clone, which also had a unique star dharma. However, there was one thing he didn't have, and that was the system. Although the system had copied everything over to Zhangxian, the system was unable to copy everything over to Zhangxian. It could only copy things that were unique to Zhang Xian. But even if there wasn't, that wasn't the main point. In any case, it was enough that his clone also had a powerful and unique star Dharma idol. Very good. This time, I don't have to worry about being unable to split myself. Tianyan smiled as he shook his head. Soon after, he began to meditate and recover. He had just created his doppelganger, so naturally, he had expended a lot of energy. Most of it was on his soul, so he needed to rest. When his main body and his clone sat down to recover, Tianyan immediately felt the double recovery effect. Especially when he was close to them, he could clearly feel that his recovery speed had become stronger. Maybe it was because they were close to each other that the double recovery effect was brought about. This made Tianyan feel pleasantly surprised. No wonder so many people were fighting over this treasure. It seemed like he hadn't suffered a loss. While he was recovering, he suddenly felt a vibration coming from his star ring. He quickly took out the token from his star ring. He found that the token given to him by the five-colored holy race had started to buzz crazily. This meant that the five-colored holy race was in trouble and was asking for his help. Something happened to the five-colored holy race so quickly. Tianyan frowned. The clan master had said that there wouldn't be any problems for the time being. He hadn't expected that something like this would still happen. He immediately thought of the Master of Star Origin situation and guessed, could it be that this happened because the Master of Star Origin died? He didn't think that everything was airtight. Perhaps it was the Master of Star Origin's death that caused the Green Demon race to go crazy. After all, if they didn't go crazy, there wouldn't be a chance. No matter what the situation was, Tianyan's figure flashed and disappeared on the spot. Even his doppelganger had disappeared along with him. Tianyan didn't go alone. Instead, he took his clone with him. There was nothing to do here for the time being, so it wasn't a problem for him to leave for the time being, especially when dealing with the Green Demon race. He was afraid that he would encounter a strong enemy. Bringing an extra clone was equivalent to having another powerful trump card. It had to be said that it felt good to have a clone again. This way, he would have another powerful trump card. He had clones in the lower realm before, but those were all fake. This was the real one. In the blink of an eye, Tianyan was teleported to the five-element mountain area. He had marked the teleportation location long ago. He didn't know how long it would take for him to fly over. It was a good thing to be able to race against time. As he passed through the secret passageway, he entered the interior of the five-element mountain. When he entered through the transmission array, the outside was empty. There was no one there. He immediately had a bad premonition and quickened his footsteps. After passing through the main hall of the temple, he discovered that there was not a single person here. Under normal circumstances, in times of emergency, some of the weaker clansmen would be sent here in order to preserve the new power. But now no one was here. The key was that there weren't even any guards. There were still guards before. Could something serious have happened? Tianyan's gaze darkened, and he quickly rushed out. When he rushed out, he was completely stunned. In front of him was not the five-colored god races area, but an empty space. The entire five-colored god races area had disappeared. In this small world, there was only this temple left. The small world was originally so big, but there was not a single person, not even a house. Was it moved away? Tianyan looked around, and upon closer inspection, he discovered that there were traces of cutting, as if it had been ruthlessly dug away. There were no traces of battle here, only traces of energy fluctuations. You're tuning into the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.